Bismillah, yeah, yeah. We've been searching outside when the truth was always within. Listen, the black man is God, yeah, I know. How I know? Cause Allah told me so. Not a mystery, it's in my soul. Truth been buried, but it's time to grow. The black man is God sent gold. Lost knowledge, now we take control. No more waiting, no more being slow. I know who I am. Allah told me so. Born in a system that erased my name. Taught me change but never taught me rain. Told me God was somewhere in the sky, while I'm down here barely getting by. But the lessons hit different when you wake up. Truth hit hard, had to shake up every lie that they fed as a youth. Now I'm standing on divine truth. Will you sit and wait on the mystery, or build power in your identity? Enemy never played that role. He built kingdoms, took control. So I look within, what did I see? Not a slave of divinity, God in flesh, that's reality. Not religion, that's biology. The black man is God. Yeah, I know, yeah, I know, I know. Allah told me so. Not a mystery, it's in my soul. It's in my soul. Truth been buried, but it's time to grow. The black man is God. Stand bold, stand bold. Lost knowledge, now we take control. No more waiting, no more being slow. I know who I am. Allah told me so. From the wilderness to the concrete jungle, still rising through the pain, the struggle. They fed the child, tried to kill the seed, but we the future that the world gon' need. Program young with fear and doubt. That same fear we breaking out. No more chains on the mental plane. We evolving, we breaking chains. Style itself is the highest form. That's the key to transform. From a follower to a guide, from confusion to divine pride. We was kings before the ships, before the whips and stolen scripts. Now it's time we reclaim the throne and build a nation of our own. No more waiting, no more praying for something outside. He lives inside. No more begging, no more hoping. We rise in truth, we live in proof. The black man is God. I know, yeah, I know, I know. Cause Allah told me so. Not a mystery, it's in my soul. Truth been buried, but it's time to grow. The black man is God. Stand bold. Lost knowledge, now we take control.
Peace, brothers. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Thanking you for tuning in, brothers, to another edition of We Must First Be Brothers. We're gonna go ahead and get started. First, want to start by saying, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, who made his divine intervention in our affairs in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise I forever do. And I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is his exalted Christ and risen Messiah. I'm forever thankful to Allah and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad for their servant and divine reminder, a faithful warner, a true brother, a true example of what it is that we need to become in an hour like this. Speak of none other than our beloved, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So we thank you for tuning in. I greet you with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. But before we begin tonight's discussion, I want to briefly acknowledge the recent case involving our young brother, Carmelo. Many people have rushed to judgment and condemned this young brother. The truth is that most of us have no idea what pressure he was under, what fears he may have been carrying, or what circumstances led him to feel the need to defend himself in such a way. As Black men, we know that many of our children are forced to navigate this environment that can be hostile, racially charged, and psychologically stressful. So this is not about excusing his decision or whatever, or making a judgment one way or another, but it's about understanding that every tragedy has a context. And the question is not simply what this young brother did. The question is, what responsibility do we have as a community? How can we expect our children to consistently make safe decisions while they're being shaped by institutions and environments that often fail to teach them who they are, whose they are, and the value of their own lives? If we truly care about our youth, our young people, our concern cannot be after a tragedy or after a situation occurs. It must begin long before. Because security, real security, is preventive. The reality is that our children are being raised by our enemies more than they are being raised by us. So it really don't matter what kind of family they come from. As soon as we set them inside of a system that is opposed to their nature, then they're bound to be situations that will occur that may not be in our favor. Our children are spending way too much time under the influence of our enemy, of people who do not love them, and very little time under the influence of their parents or those who love them, those who are responsible for their growth and for their development. And this really brings us to our subject tonight. One of the greatest obstacles to responsibility is the belief in a mystery God. For thousands and thousands of years, we have been taught of a God beyond the clouds, unseen, unknown, and disconnected from the affairs of men. The result is that we wait. We wait for someone else to solve our problems, save our children, rebuild our communities, and heal our relationships. The teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad removes the mystery God and restores responsibility. In our lessons, we are asked the question, who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic Black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. That teaching is not about arrogance or an inflated ego. It's about accountability. Will you sit at home, we ask, and wait on a mystery God to bring you food? Will you sit at home and wait on a mystery God to protect your children? Will you sit at home and wait on a mystery God to rebuild our communities, to help us to establish a community of our own? Will you sit at home and wait on a mystery God to establish schools, create businesses, produce food, provide clothing, and secure our future? The Holy Quran teaches us very clearly, and that man can have nothing but what he strives for. And again, the Holy Quran says, and Allah changes not the condition of a people until they change it themselves. The reality, my brothers, is that we are the only people on this earth, on planet Earth, Black people in America, who are operating as individuals. I'm going to say that again. because I want that to really resonate. We're the only people on planet Earth who are operating inside of this continent, inside of America, as individuals, while most are operating collectively for their people. And this is why so many of us are dependent on someone outside of ourselves. We depend on others for food, man. I was thinking about this, and I want this to resonate because Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us these things, what we need to do. But we really need to think about it, especially in the context of the time that we're living in, where we are right now with all that we know. We're still depending on another people, another man for food. We depend on others for clothing. We depend on him for shelter, or at least the materials to buy our homes from him. We depend on others for education. No wonder little brother in the situation that he's in, because he's in the belly of the beast. He's in the institution, the killing fields, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, because collectively as a people, we haven't established what is necessary to be free and independent as a people. And we can't just simply use rhetoric. We have to really dig into what we're talking about and why we're here and why this subject is there is no mystery God. The black man is God. We depend on others for protection. We call in 911. We're not acting in the way that we should to protect our own communities. Many are afraid of our own children. We have no control, no say. And as soon as some injustice comes about, we will go angry at our enemy, but not taking any responsibility for ourselves. We need to really consider what we're talking about. But this is all wrapped up in the mystery God teaching. When those systems that feed us and clothe us and shelter us, give us jobs from our enemy, when they fail us, when we begin to protest, we complain, we beg for relief and mercy even. We throw what I would like to call an adult version of a tantrum. Grown people who should take advantage of what was given to us, what is called freedom. But we would rather throw a tantrum and run between the two hills, the Republicans or the Democrats, the conservative or liberals, seeking help, seeking some solution to come out of a system that will never help us. It is insanity for us to continue to believe that they will. With all the knowledge available to us today, it is insanity that we remain in a position of dependence while claiming to possess the knowledge of God. That goes for some of us who have been introduced to the wisdom. I was having a conversation with a brother this week, and the thought just continues to come up in my mind. Do we really believe? Do we really believe? We really should have grown past belief at this point into the absolute, which is knowing. But many of us are still believing in a mystery God. Again, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us thoroughly from Allah that there is no mystery God. The reality of God is responsibility. When we really know who God is and we really accept the reality of God, we accept responsibility. We don't wait on anyone. The reality of God is law. The reality of God is effort. The reality of God is production. Plant a seed in the earth and it produces food. Learn agriculture and you can feed yourself, Brother Lewis. Learn industry, and you can clothe yourself. Learn business, and you can employ yourself. Learn cooperation, and we can build institutions for ourselves. The teaching that we have learned from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, of whom I'm so grateful to Allah. I'm so grateful to Allah for his intervention, but then raising up the honorable Elijah Muhammad and giving us a faithful, dedicated warner and warrior in the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, but teaches us the black man is God and teaches us our divine identity. Now look, the teachings that the black man is God properly places us in our divine self and demands upon us accountability, not waiting, not being dependent. And I'm telling you, these words are piercing if you're really listening deeply, especially those who have been taught these teachings, because we really need to be honest with ourselves about what we are doing and how we have handled what we have been given. And for our people who don't know, you really need to pay attention to the trickery and the deception of our enemy who taught us and who perpetuates this kind of lie to us and misrepresenting. While he builds a whole world, he got us looking up for God in the sky and hoping and praying for something to change in our condition. While our babies are on the street dying and killing each other, and we're dying and killing each other, we're unhealthy, we are suffering. We need to analyze what's going on. This is not just some talk. We really need to dig into what we're talking about and explode the points with hopes that it will wake up something in us and sober us in an hour like this. Because if we don't, we're in a lot of trouble. No more excuses. No blaming when you know the reality of God. When you know the reality of God, we have to act like it, which means we have to build, we have to protect our children, our women, our elderly, provide housing for our elderly. You just imagine you work your whole life, even some of those in our nation who work their whole life and then suffer because they don't have anyone to help take care of them after they have given their whole life over to the cause to uplift us as a people. Many of our great leaders have died, man, because we were not responsible, because we did not take accountability. And this cycle is continuous. As gods, we have to establish institutions. As men who know the reality of God, we can't live as beggars. As men, brothers, as a people, we have to accept the responsibility that comes with the knowledge of ourselves. So tonight, I'm praying that Allah will bless us to explode these points and talk deeply about this truth and responsibility and accountability that's upon us. This truth of the reality of who we are. Tonight, let's discuss why the mystery God teachings has produced dependency and why the knowledge of self is the foundation of responsibility, self-determination, and true brotherhood. So I welcome all of my brothers tonight. Thanking you for tuning in to our discussion tonight. This is a heavy discussion because there's so many moving pieces that are happening. And I mentioned our young brother, and so many people are hurt right now over the sentence that was handed down to him. But what is the real cause of our pain? Is it because we are waiting for justice? My brothers and sisters, we at some point we're going to have to face reality, man. There is no such thing as justice in the United States of America. It's just not going to happen. It never will. You can hope and you can pray for the next 1,000, 10,000 years. They are incapable of giving justice because it is not in their nature. So we whining. Some of us are ready to go protest, stand outside of courthouses and throw tantrums. Give me justice. Give me justice. Help me. Help me. Don't treat them. Don't do them like that. And he's just tightening up the noose because he's tired of you. He is tired of you because Allah has already set you free. Allah has already came and gave you the way out, but many of us want to hold on. We want to hold on. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that in that day, Allah would send fiery serpents after them, which is angry white people. They are becoming tired of you begging them for jobs. Think over that, Brother Lewis. In 2026, man, we still begging for jobs and we're begging for justice, man. Because we refuse to do what we need to do as a people, and that is to unite and work together and build something to overcome ego, overcome pride, and all of the things that are hindering us to mature. We would rather be on the internet arguing and having pissing contests as opposed to building something for our own, man. Instead of locking arms. And there's some brothers, I give you shout out, brothers, that I don't want to over and shadow the good that is being done. But I want to point out that there's not enough of it. And there's too much foolishness going on. And as a result of that, we are dying and we have no one to blame. We are suffering and we have no one to blame but ourselves. That's why I raised that question from what we have learned from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who is the mystery God? Because it's a mystery God teaching that we continuously believe in that got us acting with an expectation and waiting with an expectation that is unreasonable. So we start, I want to pass the baton to my brother Lewis as we get ready to move forward deep into this discussion. And we want to go down the line. We hope that others who are listening will tune in. We got a lot of brothers around this country I know who have a lot to offer in the way of knowledge. And inshallah, you'll tap in. You know, you'll tap in at some point, because I wonder sometimes, Brother Lewis, you know, I know we got other brothers, but I wonder sometimes what prevents us from supporting each other in the way that we need to support? Is it the ego that big? Is this some type of poop on our face somewhere? Did we say we are not with our Lord and Savior? Do we deny our Lord? See, this is the problem, man. While our people are dying and suffering. That's why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's instruction, we have to follow it. These conversations are just an introduction to the activity, but we must first be brothers. So, Brother Lewis, thank you for being here. I see Brother Carlton, Brother Noor, Doctor is here. We thank you all so much. And I think it's Brother Darrell was on the call. I think I saw Brother Darrell, and I might be missing a few other brothers. Nephew, I think, is on the call. Yeah, I want to welcome you all, brothers, and thank you for tuning in and participating. Please go on Facebook, share, add names to the link that's on my page. You know, just make sure that we keep promoting and encouraging our brothers, because we and sisters, we have to dig deep into these discussions, and we ain't letting nobody off the hook. These discussions are not being had. We're only talking about foolishness on the internet right now, relationship issues and dramas. We're not talking about what is necessary, what needs to be done. That's what we're doing over here by the help of Allah. These are subjects that you can tie right to the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's not a secret where it's coming from, but they're universally sound and necessary if we're going to get up. Brother Lewis Ali from the South, welcome, my dear brother. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Brother Michael. I really enjoyed the intro that you gave to this serious topic on the mystery God. And it's really, it's a spiritual topic, but it's a very real topic. And I've kind of coined something that I always say, that integration has failed because integration is a sin. And I follow that with, we must repent and atone to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, period. And then pool our resources together and make our own communities safe and decent places to live. That is the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's representative, Minister Farrakhan. We have a self-improvement, which is the basis for community development. And if you don't have the study guides, you really should get the study guides and start reading what the minister wrote and gave to all of us for free. You can subscribe to the Final Call newspaper, which you should read every week. And you should always get the study guides of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. If you don't have the book yet, you can see it in the background of Brother Michael there. We must first be brothers. This is a very important book. And we have to start taking the approach of self-development and reading and studying among ourselves and form ourselves into study groups and that book, We Must First Be Brothers, 100 Key Principles to Brotherhood. Get that book, and wherever you are, form a think tank or study group with that self-improvement study guide by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and start an open dialogue and invite people to your think tank, not just Muslims, Christians, agnostic, men, women. Start really looking into the principles that the minister's teaching. Now, I want to read something, Brother Michael, from study guide number 11. And it's titled, Allah is the True Center of Everything. Please take notice to what Minister Farrakhan said. He said, we take our teachers, preachers, gurus, physicians, nutritionists, spiritual advisors, palm readers, political leaders, critics, arts, literature, entertainment, astrologists, sports figures, and meteorologists, weathermen, etc., for lords beside Allah. The deception about Jesus has been of far-reaching impact, but it is not only deception. Allah God warns us against worshiping anyone or anything besides him. And our teachings given to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad are our general orders. General order number 1 is to take charge of this post and all temple property in view. Then he raises a question.
Teach.
How can one take charge of this post self when one knows nothing of self and is neither cultivated nor developed in the proper way to take charge of self? Just think about that. How are you going to take charge of yourself if you're not properly cultivated and developed in the proper way to take charge of self? The institutions are responsible for fostering the growth of the individual, that he or she may take responsibility for self. This they have failed to do. A steward acts for another. Say that again. A steward acts for another. The home, the school, the church are only to be responsible for individuals for a certain period of time. But during that time, each one of these institutions is to feed the individual, that the individual may recognize what life is, or the choices that he may make, heaven or hell, two conditions of life. The institutions have a responsibility for feeding and nurturing the will that is to be strengthened in the way of right. Cultivate the natural desires and show those in it how to develop the desires that are proper and to curb the desires that are improper. To develop their natural intelligence, that they may distinguish between the proper and the improper, and the will to bring into fruition what is right. The failure of the institutions to perform their function render them obsolete and justifies their removal by Allah God. And he says, behold, I make all things new. We're going to analyze the problem with the Caucasian world in the context of this study guide. In analyzing the problems of the Caucasian world, recognize that the problem is that he, meaning the Caucasian, is trying to make himself the focus of the people. He is trying to make the people take his way of thinking, living, civilization, and not Allah God. America is not a nation in obedience to Allah God. Therefore, she cannot be the true center of power. The Caucasian people have set up institutions that reflect a damaged perception of reality. The institutions of this world are the stewards of the life force in charge of people of Allah God. Looking at the world, there is a need for change. The world leaders and teachers have failed to bring in the righteous fruits in the vineyard. Therefore, they have failed to produce from their wisdom that which is acceptable to Allah God. Just a little more, Brother Michael.
Go ahead, take your time, brother.
To institute means to initiate, to start. The institutions have failed precisely because they were not founded on Allah God as the center. Therefore, they have failed to assist the individual in becoming a master of self, a controller of self. They do not teach a God-centered chemistry, psychology, law, medicine, etc.
Teach.
The children of the institutions, the alma mater, are bringing pain and suffering because they were not taught from a God-centered base. This has resulted, and it's happening now, in anarchy and complete total rebellion. Throughout the Quran, we are warned against setting up other human beings as lords beside Lord. Now I'm going to skip over a little bit and make one final point. Only Allah possesses absolute knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. None of us are his equal. We must respect one another's intelligence and recognize the limitations in one another. We are all from him. And so I'm going to stop right there, Brother Michael and family. One of the things we got to recognize in order to end this mystery God teaching, we have to circumvent around Allah as our true center. Everything has to begin with truth. If you look at what high school students, college students, and others are doing at their graduation, we see the children of those institutions bringing about pain and suffering based on what they taught, what they were taught, because it's not God-centered. And so you see them acting in total, complete rebellion. You see them acting in a degenerate manner. But this is all going back to what you were saying, Brother Michael, about this mystery God teaching. See, the mystery God teaching, nobody is responsible. Nobody is accountable. There is always chaos and chaotic and sporadic and non-consistent behavior because we don't have a benchmark that we can say this is the true standard that we circumvent around. This is where we got our psychology, a God-centered psychology. This is where we got a God-centered law that is based on not color, but is based on freedom, justice, and equality. Those principles. Our medicine is not God-centered. Our culture is definitely not God-centered. It's all a big chaotic mystery. And this is what's causing the decay in the civilization. And this is what's bringing not just America down, because America has set itself up as the centerpiece of the world. But this kind of rotten decay is what's destroying this world, and a new world based on a God-centered standard. We're at the beginning of that. And the man who's ushering it in, the man who's the door, the man who is the way, the truth, and the life is none other than Minister Farrakhan. He's modeling a behavior that at the end of the day, all of us are bound to accept and come into this type of mentality. And as it starts spinning, he's like the first begotten of those of the dead. And as it starts spinning, the model of this man, it picks up more and more and more. And then there's Brother Michael, there's Brother Carlton, there's Brother Rick. All of us become the body of Christ, or the body of or the Ummah of Allah, God. And we end this mystery God teaching once and for all. I want to start right there, brother.
I think you really hit it out the park, brother. You know, I have been really doing a lot of intense studying, and I have come full circle in my study about the value of the minister. And the fact that you pointed that out really resonates, because we really have no idea. And I'm not saying you and we on this call, but I'm saying in the general perspective of what you're saying, we have no idea who we've been dealing with, you know? And now, as is nearing his time for departure, just as it was in the time of the Jesus of the scripture, which was a sign, we are seeing a total decay in society and a total breakdown. The man upheld and has upheld so many moral principles and teaching, and given so much direction to help us to make better and better informed decisions with our lives. There has not been a man has done to the degree that he has done what he has done. And so he is a model. And I was just thinking while you were talking, he's like Neo in the Matrix, breaking the algorithm. He is literally the one, you know, and I'm just gonna say it just like that, you know. And you're right. And those who really study the brother will get the benefit of becoming the ones too. And that's what you're saying. We can evolve. That's why the scripture said, by one man sin into the world, and all men have sinned. But also by one man shall, you know, into the world, and he will, through that man, all men shall be saved. He is a product of the greatest human being aside of God, that has ever walked on this planet, and that is the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know, and so what I'm saying is I just have to second that in agreement, because that's a very important pivot to start from. But what example are we being given from our brothers before people say we turning this into just a bearing of witness session? What we're talking about is a brother who is proving that there is no mystery God. And what I mean by that, in the example of his life and the way that he has pressed forward in everything that he has done, he is proving to us that the only God really is the Son of Man. And that is not just the Son of Man who came in person, but that means you and me, because the mirror is being held up before us. We are being called to be totally responsible, to take full and complete responsibility for ourselves. Brothers, the judgment comes on the righteous as well as the wicked, but it comes on the righteous because of the righteous failure to adhere to the mercy of God that is being extended to the people to come out of her and to make better decisions with our lives. That's why I made the statement. I said, by the help of Allah, that we're a nation of, we're a group of we're a country of individuals. Just think about how individual we are in this country. We do everything individual. We are not operating, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, with unity and group operation. And that is because we're still waiting. Some of us are still waiting, just sitting around waiting, your life leaving you, passing you by moment. You're waiting on something to change. You're waiting on the gas prices to go down. They may never go down. So waiting on the housing to be fair, waiting on the laws to change. Nothing is going to change. Nothing in this society is going to improve, because it was not designed to improve, because they are, as you pointed out, institutions rooted in rebellion to God. They're institutions that were built on a foundation of trickery, lying, and deceit, and you know it. And you know it. Many of us have been taught. We know Abraham Lincoln didn't come to free the slaves. We know the battle in the South wasn't about freeing slaves. That was an economic decision. It was never about you, and you still teaching your children that madness. See, our failure to accept the truth and act on the principles of truth is what's got us in a whole lot of trouble, brothers. Got our people in a lot of trouble. And, and I feel more of a presence of warning in my spirit. I feel a presence of, I want to get the blood off my hand too. I want to do what I'm supposed to do, whatever my part in the process is, because I don't want to be found when this thing starts to really wrap up the way it's about to wrap up. I don't want to be found not having at least tried to do my best to help our people. And that's what we're talking about today when we point out this reality that there is no mystery God, that the only God is the Son of Man, that we have to take accountability. And brother, go ahead, Brother Lewis, please.
Anthony, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me, brothers?
Yes, sir.
One of the things that I've noticed is that when you believe in the mystery God, you don't like responsibility. One of the number one responsibilities of any living species is to teach their youth who the enemy is. When a deer is born, the deer can barely stand up, and you see the mother kind of nudging it. Come on, we got to run. A fox is coming, a wolf is coming. We might be the first generation of original people that didn't teach the Carmelo Anthonys of the world who the enemy is.
Facts.
See, our enemy in the Black community now is a mystery. Is he the need to grow that broke in my house last week? Is he the Caucasian? Is he the small hat who gave me an interest, a loan at the bank for 50% interest? Who is your enemy, black man? Do you know the difference between an open enemy and a competitor? Because I've seen lions fight each other. I see dogs fight each other, but I noticed that when the hyenas come around, all the lions unite to fight the hyenas.
Hyenas, yes.
And vice versa. Hyenas see a lion around, they fight each other, but if they see a lion around, they all unite and fight. So we don't have clarity because we are not centered on truth. So we're all mixed up and chaotic. And anything that is chaotic does not have power. You see what I'm saying, Brother Michael?
Yes, sir.
Now, we have an opportunity to do what others are trying to do. We could center our life on the truth and then move in closer proximity to one another and build a God-centered community. There's nothing that can hold us back from doing that if we desire to do it. But if you're waiting to exhale, but you're still catching hell, if you're waiting around for the perfect moment, if it is the perfect moment, then faith is not required. See, previous generations of black people, they left the South. I think they said up to 6 million black people left the South and they moved north, east, and west, but they got out the South for an opportunity to work in factories. They used to have what was called a hotbed. Think about that. You know what a hotbed is, Brother Michael?
No, sir.
You and I are a little young, but my grandmother was the queen of oral history.
Right.
She would tell me about it. A hotbed went, if I got up and I worked from 7 to 5, you slept in my bed. We were roommates. We shared a bed, and the bed was yours while I was gone. And then you left that house, and your shift was from 5 o'clock to, onward in the morning, and I took the bed. I didn't say Spanish people done that or Spanish-speaking original people. Black people from down south did that. Do you know that when black people came south to go to Southern University, I can remember my grandmother renting a room in her house to a college student? This is the way we were.
Wow.
We were centered, not totally God-centered, but we were closer to that benchmark than we are now. And at the time, we were practicing so-called Christianity. And we were practicing Christianity better than many of us are practicing some of the stuff that we claim we know today in terms of our unity. The Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey galvanized those so many millions of black people. They had, but they agreed on who the enemy was. They agreed upon some things. They weren't perfect, but those are models that we could study and do a lot better. Now think about this here. Can you imagine? We always talk about economic impact, but what about cultural impact? Cultural impact can trump, it can fuel economic impact, if you think about it. If you had, what effect would it have on a little city like Baton Rouge if 10 Muslims moved in close proximity to one another? What would they call it? Muslim gentrification? I had such a good captain when I joined the Nation of Islam. He was teaching brothers how to move into, if you were young, we were in our 20s, if you're going to move into an apartment, he would tell you to go to the manager, especially if you were married, and ask the manager, can you paint the apartment where you stayed at? He wouldn't allow us, if you were newly married, to have an MGT, a little young MG. This is in our 20s now. And the brothers would go buy the paint and make it clean, pick up all of the paper. They'd make it so nice. The property manager wanted to have all Muslims stay over there.
Wow.
So you win people over just by being clean and getting rid of this chaos. You never heard about Muslims inside of apartments making a lot of noise and beating up women. See, this is all part of this mystery God stuff, this mystery devil teaching, where nobody can hold you accountable. We can change things, Brother Michael.
Absolutely.
We have the benchmark, we have the man, we have the example of how to change things in our community. What we don't realize, and I don't know if it's a confident thing or not. If we have enough confidence in the minister's example to line up on him and start practicing what he does. Like, let me give you this, and I'm gonna stop because I want all of us as brothers, because this is a dialogue.
Yeah, I got some, and I definitely got some questions for us today. You know, I got a few questions, but you're on something though. I want you to really wrap that in because it's tying into something that's very important.
Just the last quick point about this mystery God and winning the community over. I heard, I don't know, but it was reported to me that the minister gives his neighbors at the farm food out the garden. And also, he don't celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving, so to speak, but he actually gave his neighbors turkeys, according to what was reported to me. Okay, he didn't tell me this, but some around said it. So I've been practicing giving people in the community food out of my garden. And all of my neighbors, they just love me at the ATV park and over where my garden is. We've been picking a lot of tomatoes. We could sell some, but we've been giving them to people, and they're really good tomatoes and peas and just other things that we're growing. We give it to them. When you're building a community, part of what makes people get along with one another, you should always have something that you can give to others.
Beautiful.
And it ain't just cash. Stop giving the women roses all the time. Plant your woman some cucumbers. My wife loves, you just plant cucumbers or zucchini or some kind of vegetable. And as you plant that little seed in the ground and watch it multiply, you would be shocked how much one seed can produce. But Allah is showing you that to show you your potential and how much He can develop you. And then you go and you tell your neighbor, I grew tomatoes, they done good. And so I have some for you. Would you like to try some? And then that neighbor there will grow something next. You should encourage them to put a fruit tree in their yard. These are simple things that we can do to be neighborly. Our motto is not based on the Caucasian anymore. God has given us a motto in Minister Farrakhan. You don't worship models, but you do admire models. I mean, he looks so handsome and good. I think I got some pretty good looks myself, you know.
Yes, sir.
Allah cleans us up and makes us presentable for the world. And so these are things that we can do because He didn't give us a mystery man. He gave us a man.
That's right.
He gave us a real live man model
to
look at so that we can model and we can become models of, we don't have to be mystery men. We
Absolutely.
can become models for our young people,
Mm.
and we could make our own community a safe and decent place to live, work, and play.
It's so interesting, because I kind of follow the flow, of the conversation, and pointing out things about the minister, and which is very significant because that's literally how it works. That's how we overcome a mystery God teaching. A man was born by the name of Yaqub, who actually leveraged the fact that the people did not know the whereabouts of God, and he created a whole people out of that teaching. But it was by a man who had a law. He didn't see the end result of his teaching. He was gone for over 450 years before the product of which he was designing and grafting into existence had came into fruition. And again, Yaqub, father of the Caucasian people. But we have to understand, Honorable Elijah Muhammad said once that he was Yaqub in reverse, that there has to be a new man being made. And Black people in America, we are new people on earth, and we have been a people who are like a virgin who needs to have a man to help us to come into our reality. That's the thing we're missing. The missing ingredient in Black people has been a man. You know, it's the missing ingredient in most of the households. Now you can see the evidence of that in the way our families are broken up. But in our communities, we have been so void of a man, and that we have been run over, and our enemy has been able to have his way with us in shaping, planting ideas in our head, the way we think. Like you, Brother Lewis, you made a good point regarding, the model. We've been following behind his model, and we don't have to follow that model. When a man comes on scene, we don't follow the model of someone who is our adversary, who doesn't want to see us successful. So our biggest void has been a man. We haven't had men. We haven't had a strong man in our lives. And so, in order to heal from that, God gives us a man. And that man teaches us the reality of God. He teaches us the reality of ourselves. He shows us how to go into the earth and dig into the earth. He shows us what courage looks like. So you don't got to like everything about the man. And most people don't like their fathers initially until after they go to war and realize what their father was doing for them. I have in this last couple of days just have grown. As much as I love the minister, I have grown in love with him on a much deeper level just in these last few days because of some things that I've been studying that have just opened up in my mind altogether in a whole different light, because I'm realizing how close we are to the fall of an empire. And I'm realizing how aware I am because of the work that he's done, because I had a good father who showed me what was coming up the road, told me, helped me to start the process of preparing for it. So I'm not losing my mind right now. I'm not going crazy. I'm not even angry at the white man because I know exactly what he's doing and why he's doing it, because I was taught by a good father who taught me that there was no mystery God, son. He said, son, your hands must produce the kingdom. He taught us that. He said, son, you have to know the time and what must be done. What must be done by who? By you, son. You can't wait on a mystery God to bring you food, clothing. And I'm looking at this in myself while I am struggling to be a man, a real man. You see, this is not fool talk. This ain't pump you up talk. I'm really being serious and honest, and will even be vulnerable. I'm looking at myself and I'm saying, man, I realize I have a way to go. Because if I'm looking around and I realize that this suit I have on came from my enemy, the threads came from his production, his laboratory, the shirt, the tie, everything. Even though, we may have spent money to go buy it and earn it, but yet the manufacturing of it was made by our adversary. See, when you start getting really, really honest, you start looking at things on that kind of level. And I'm looking at it like that. I remember I was in the radio station one day. I'm on the radio and I'm teaching by the help of Allah. Or I used to like to call it sharing. And I'm on my show and I'm, you know, he said his ministers like flames of fire. So, we on there, I'm on this thing going hard. Then I looked out the mirror out the window, pardon me, after I had got off my show and I started reflecting and I said, man, I don't own the building I'm in right now. Look across the street at the hotel. I don't own the hotel. I'm doing a whole lot of talking, but I don't own anything. And I'm not saying that that invalidates the truth that, is being spoken. But what I am saying is that I'm looking at this thing from reality. It's a reason why they call it real estate. I'm looking at things for reality. And the reality is we do not own anything. Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught over and over again, we have to get some of this land that we can call our own. And we have to produce something for ourselves as a people. That's why I'm coming with this kind of talk, because many are falling back into a mystery God type of teaching. And many of us have never left that kind of thinking. And we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting, and nobody's coming, brother. Nobody's coming to save us. What's come to save us is already here. And that's why we're having these discussions. That's why we can even talk like this. This is why we're having this kind of engagement, is because the time we're in, God is intervened and is present in our affairs to help us to make the transition out of the condition that we're in. So I see your hand up, Brother Carlton. I'm gonna come to you, and then I want to raise a question for a discussion point and for us to build on. Brother Carlton, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, dear brother.
You see again. Yes. Assalamu alaikum, brothers. Good to see y'all.
Good to see you, Brother Carlton. Good to see you, brother. It's always a blessing, brother. I've been checking you out. I've seen some of your little spots on the book. I've been checking you out. Go ahead.
I am very ever present on social media. I do lives every now and then.
Yes, sir.
I like to be able to dialogue. I have opinions that a lot of people may not understand, but we agree more than we disagree.
Yes.
Anyway, sir. I was coming to you. I was coming to say that over the last, at least, I don't know, since before the messenger left to now, we've had a man. You know what I mean? We've had men, and I believe that we've had, before the messenger, we've had Noble Drew Ali, we had Marcus Garvey, on to Master Fard Muhammad, and to the messenger. So we've had men. You know what I mean? And these men, the most prolific man, in my opinion, it has been the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
And I don't consider myself a follower of him like that. I'm saying it because of what he was able to not only say, but what he was able to do.
Right.
Okay. This man, Elijah Muhammad, did so much and showed us so much. And he gave us so much when he gave us Minister Farrakhan.
Yes.
He gave us a lot. You're right. The minister gave a body of knowledge on self-improvement, the basis for community development. And we have so much from that man. He did so many tapes, the study guides, and the messenger of Allah, Elijah Muhammad, wanted him to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? He called for him to do that. He said, I need you to teach while I go build this nation.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I was looking at a tape that the minister had did years ago. It must have been years ago, because he had a whole head full of hair. He was that young man, It was a good tape. He was basically saying, it was a video. He was basically saying, look, I am a spiritual man. I'm not a businessman. You know what I mean? I need people to come to me and build business.
Yes.
You see what I mean? So he knew that he wasn't a businessman.
Yes. Yes.
He knew that he wasn't someone that could do all of that by himself.
Yes.
Then, you know what I mean? And so we have to now take it upon ourselves to focus on that business. Focus on business. You got the spiritual part laid down.
Yes. Yes.
We're already talking about that right now. We can do that.
Sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You brothers on here that's speaking and teaching the teachings, man, it's phenomenal. You can do that easy.
Yes, sir.
What we have not been able to do,
yes, sir,
is make manifest the God.
Yes, sir.
Until we do that, it's going to always be a mystery God. Master
Yes, sir.
Fard Muhammad is becoming a mystery God
Yes, sir.
because
In the mind.
we haven't made manifest thoroughly. Not to say that we don't have the tools and we don't have the
Mhm.
thing. We have many brothers that can do many things to
Right.
make us better. But can
Right.
we talked about the ego last
Right.
time.
Yes.
Can we settle our ego to submit to that brother helping us? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yes,
To
sir.
do it, if he's a professional at doing it, I'm gonna use Ben X as an example.
Mhm.
I don't know what he can do, but I'm gonna use Ben X and I'm gonna use Dr. Leem as an example. Dr.
Mhm.
Leem has been calling for doing a website for helping people with their medical care, which I need help with. You know what I mean? I don't want to get no help with somebody but him or somebody like him that's a Muslim. He's been
Right.
calling for getting a website up, and it's been almost a year. And I'm trying to tell them, look, we got brother, I don't know what's going on, but brother Ben X over there, he says he can put a website up in a matter of weeks, matter of days, hours, minutes. Why can't we use this brother? But
Right.
would this brother not want to deal with Dr. Lean based on some misunderstanding or some things that were said? Is that worth, foregoing our health? Is Dr. Lean really a good doctor that we need to have and have trained people to be good doctors and also help us with our health enough to be able to get up a website and then hopefully get an actual facility? As I was telling
Right.
Dr. Lean, I said, Dr. Lean, a hospital is really a nucleus of a nation in itself. If you look at how it's built and
Mhm.
what has to happen in a hospital. My point is that we're gonna have to get focused and down deep on something. And
Yes.
I'm willing to do it. And I told
Yes.
Dr. Lean, I said, look, I'm willing to help as much as I can. I'm not a professional doctor, but I know about real estate. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know that,
Right.
I know that Brother Ben knows about websites. If I could talk to him, get information from you, we could go ahead and build this website. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if we
Right.
can get past that barrier, then we'll start walking in the line of a God, a true and living God. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If we can realize that, hey, the things that we agree upon are more important or more than what we disagree on. And stop
I
leaning
agree.
on what we disagree on. You know what I
I
mean?
agree.
There's so
I
much that we can get out of. I'm gonna make an example because I heard something over the weekend. So much we can get out of the Moorish Science Temple. You know what I mean? In terms of making ourselves sovereign. Let's use that because that's all we don't need okay, we know we believe in the teachings of the Imam Muhammad. Okay, boom. You believe Noble Jew Ali, blah blah, whatever the story is, the history, blah blah blah. Doesn't make a difference to me. What makes a difference to me, how can we help one another? How can we
agree.
eat, bro? How can we eat? Us arguing about that is not going to change nothing. But you telling me how to become sovereign and me giving you medical care, helping you with medical care, you know what I mean? And us showing you how we actually have an economic blueprint, which they don't have. You know what I mean? An economic
Right.
program, which they don't
Yes.
have.
Right.
If we could be able to do that, that's the thing that I think that the first thing we need to do is get with like-minded. You,
Yes.
me, Brother Lewis, and the brothers
Yes.
on here, and a few Brother Tony, all of your brother, we know
Right.
that the teachings is right.
Yes.
Okay. What's his name?
Yes.
Malik Sabaz. He know the teachings, all them guys. They know the
Right.
teachings. Let's get to the right part and do that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Forget all the other
Yes.
stuff, all the other egos.
Brother. I
I'm
agree.
willing to
I
forego
agree.
my ego just so I can sit down and work with someone.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
If we could just pray to Allah, that we get the
Yes.
egos out of the way.
Yes. Yes.
I'm praying to Allah because
Me
that's
too.
what's holding us back. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
sir. Yes, sir.
There should be, I know that there should be at least 20 people on this call. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
On this Zoom.
Yes,
And I
sir.
know when I first started out, it was that. What's going on? You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Kicked in. After we
Yes,
was talking
sir.
about egos. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes. Yes,
You
sir.
see? So when you start
Yes, sir.
talking about stuff, when people got that, they end up wanting to
Yeah.
go away from
They
it.
disappear on you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They
Yes,
want
sir.
to run from it now because they see you checking them. You see that
Yes.
ego up in there.
Yes. Yes,
And you
sir.
said something about it, they get to looking at themselves and they don't want to see that. They don't look at themselves no more.
Yeah. Yes. Heavy. Heavy.
Anyway, I don't want to go
Heavy.
too long on nothing. But brother,
Well, I'll tell you, Brother Carlton. Go ahead. Go ahead. You want to wrap up?
okay,
Yeah.
I know that I know that this is a part of it. This is a nucleus of what we can
Yes.
do greater things when it
Yeah.
comes to building. And I would
Yeah.
like to see us, hopefully, okay, we have something on Thursday with you brothers. I would like to see with you
Yes.
brothers if we can have something on Monday, and we can
Yes.
just talk about business. We can talk
Yes,
about the
sir.
house. We can talk
Yes.
about the website. Just us right
Yes, sir.
here and say, hey,
Yes, sir.
look, this is what we want to do with your website. This is what we
Yeah.
want to do with the maybe getting
Right.
some land somewhere and make a move, or at least walk
Yeah.
towards making a move. I know that if we start walking towards it, then Allah will put it together in His perfect way. You know?
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Assalamu
Thank
alaikum.
you, brother Carlton. Walaikum salam. And I 100%. I totally agree with you, brother. I understand exactly where you're coming from. We have to get over being petty, and I think that's where we're hurting ourselves at. Now, we do disagree. We have disagreements. Nations disagree, but they still do trading amongst each other. Uh, um, Governments have conflicts, but they still shake hands and are acting civil. We have to learn how to do it. You're right, and we have to learn how to benefit from each other. That's intelligent. That's just being intelligent. If it's a need that we have in the community, we have to get over whatever is hindering us from getting to the need, getting the bigger picture, the mission. You know, that's the beautiful example I see in the minister. Even I've watched the minister. He's been more than willing of all the years that I've ever seen him to work with our people, no matter what perspective that they have and where they're coming from. He would be open for that. He has exemplified that on many occasions. You mentioned Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I remember learning about that and about how the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was doing all those great works and of helping us to build, and building, buying and building just as an example. I think I remember it being said to me that that wasn't necessarily his mission alone. Like he wasn't there to build up businesses for us, but he gave us that as a sign of what we have the capacity to do. And that's something I think we may want to take into consideration, that he didn't do it just so we can talk about it for the next 10 years and we do nothing like it, but he gave us a sign of what we're capable of doing, and he did that by himself pretty much. Most of that was built on his faith alone and not the faith of the collective body. They believed enough in him to listen to him, but it was him that was driving that agenda. And you're right. He told the minister, that the minister's teaching was helping him because business robbed you of the spirit. I remember that, but that is something that we need to overcome. The problem between us, these petty differences. I've seen the little things that was going on in social media. I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, we have these disagreements. What are we achieving? What's the outcome? What is the end result? If you're going to have a discussion or you're going to have a talk, it's okay if we want to be edified and we want to grow. If we're there for that, if we're there to grow. But if we're there to just have a pissing contest, which is unfortunately, as you point out, Brother Carlton, what many of us are doing, then we're not benefiting from our brothers. You're right. There's some brothers in the mold that could teach us some things and some things that they can learn from us if we would approach life that way. There's some brothers in the ranks that we can help. If you got Dr. Lee wanting to do a website, then I'm sure we got plenty of brothers beyond just Brother Ben X, but plenty of brothers that know how to build a website. If it's going to be beneficial to our people, then that's easy. That should be an easy task for us to complete as a mature people. And there's many others that need help doing things. But if all we can do is have pissing contests, and deal with the differences, then that's a problem. Now, I will also say this. We have to learn how to not be offensive when we disagree. And I think that that's sometimes what creates this barrier also between us, that we don't know how to disagree intelligently enough where I can still sit across from you and let's do business. Unfortunately, sometimes we go for the gusto. We trying to cut each other's throat. That's how the hatred is reflected in us. We don't want the man to live. We don't even want him to save face. We disagree. We trying to murk you. We don't want you to eat. We want to unalive you in the realm of existence. Instead of saying, I just disagree with you on this point. I disagree with you on this principle. I disagree with you on this walk. If we're having a discussion about that. But I think it is more important, and this is why we must first be brothers is so important. It doesn't say any religion in what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is saying. He's not pointing out religion in this. This is black people in this country from all walks of life. We have black people who are Christian. We have brothers who are Moors. We got brothers who are Muslim. We got brothers from every walk of life, and they have intelligence. They're brilliant brothers. How the hell am I not benefiting from the brilliance of my brother? Because you don't believe in my brand. We can work that out in the wash. It's gonna all get worked out. We all say we believe in the God. He gonna work it out. And if you know you got the truth and you stand on it, just stand on it. Stand on it right till he work it out, because Allah says it right in the Quran that he will settle the differences. He said, I'm gonna make it clear. He gonna make it clear. He gonna make it clear for all of us. But why aren't we mature enough to say, I can sit down with you, brother, and benefit from you, but you'll go sit in the institution of a white man and talk about you and get your degree and sit there and drink from his cup and become intelligent and dignified, and now you're this doctor, you're this and that and other, and you can't go sit down with your brother? That's a problem, man. That's where our hypocrisy lies, brother. Is that I can't come see, you go to the restaurant and eat in the devil's kitchen, whose thoughts are evil, who's not clean, who's been your adversary. You can go and sit your family down and fine dining at his restaurant, but you won't go support your brother over here, and you won't go work with your brother, or you won't go help your brother build a restaurant, or you're too egotistical because those are the Hebrew Israelites. Don't go eat their food. What? If my brother got some good vegetables, I'm going to get my brother's food. And I've been in there and I used to go when I was in DC. I'd go in there, and I remember one of the last time during the Million Family March, I went in there. Brother gave me some chopped carrots and something like that. I don't know what it was, but when I tell you I had enough energy to drive 10 hours, I was good. And I'll never forget that. But I ate from the table of my brothers. See, this is what we have to learn how to do. We got to learn how to be brothers. And then I can appreciate you. And what happens is what you said, Brother Lewis, in your opening about the minister. When you go give some of your neighbors something, you are blessing them. You are blessing them. And then what they'll do is bless you back.
That's right.
And when we get a system of blessing each other instead of getting on the internet trying to talk about who's this and who's that, then we will win. Because now I'm looking over at you with love in my heart. Thank you for that tomato. I'm sitting up here wanting a tomato, listening at you, because I haven't had a real tomato, and I don't know probably how long. But I know Brother Lewis got a real tomato down there. You see what I'm saying? I know Brother Lewis got a real tomato that's been prayed over and blessed. You see? So why aren't we focusing on that? That's what we need to focus on. But when you have other things distracting you, and this is why we were dealing with the ego so heavy, Brother Carlton. You were so right on your point, that we just won't help each other. And that's sad. It's like my man Sam Cooke say, I go to my brother, and he listen, and I'm down on my knees, he's saying. I say, I go to my brother, I say, brother, help me,
please.
Think over that. And he said, but he winds up stabbing me while I'm right down on my knees. Man. See, we got to think about that. This is unfortunately what Sam Cooke was saying, who was influenced by the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is true to this very day. That's sad that we still acting like this as Black men in this community, brother, with all we up against. It should hurt our hearts what this little brother Carmelo is going through. This is little straight A student. His family, they tried to do the best that they could. Now, I'm not, again, dismissing anything because I don't know all the facts, but I know he's not I can look at the boy and tell he ain't no hardened criminal.
He's not.
I can look at the boy and tell that the boy might have just been afraid and he said, I ain't taking this, and said he gonna man up, and he positioned himself to protect himself. He may not intended to kill the boy. He was just trying to make them know, y'all got to get up off of me. I got man in me. These generations of young people, they got fight in them. See, but we should feel that should affect us in a deeper way, because there's many of these young brothers out here that have zero guidance and no love whatsoever, but we over here having pissing contests. I got the right teaching. I got the right way. Well, if you got it, then time will tell. I promise you. You just make sure you humble enough that if you happen to just be off, that you're willing to submit to what is right. I'm cool. I believe 1,000% in what I stand on. Don't get it twisted. But boy, if you can prove a good point to me to open my eyes up on something, I may not seen it a certain way, then I'm gonna listen to what you're saying and your point. Not have a pissing contest, but see the point that you might drop on me in the way of wisdom. So we have to stop this crap. This is what's bringing about the judgment of God on us as a people. Just watch what this enemy is about to do. Now, I'm not trying to make you afraid. You can get up talking about you finna go get all your guns and you finna weaponize. I seen this brother on the internet talking like a plumb fool. Talking about, he gonna go knock some white people out. Man, you better stop being silly if you're gonna get fall trick to what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. What the small hats are setting up right now, which is a race war. They're doing everything to keep you from focusing on them, and most importantly, and they're evil, but also focusing on yourself and your responsibility. You see, so you looking over here and saying, this white man and what he doing? Man, this white man doing about what he always been doing, bro. He ain't gonna change. That's his business. But you and I need to do is what we need to do. And then you sit up here now, you ready to arm up and go to war, sitting out here protesting and complaining because he called you a nigga. I need to grow. You know what I'm saying? But okay. What at the end of the day, what is going to be the end result? This is his country. I'm going to tell you something I was going to say today, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. Brothers, and to our people who are listening, you and I don't own America. Reality check. Now, I'm not saying we don't have rights that we can probably, based on our sojourn and our experience and what we've gone through as a people. I'm not saying that we don't have a right in the future that Allah has promised. We stand on that promise. But as it stands, brothers and sisters, or brothers, I'm telling you sisters, I'm sorry, but our people are listening. We don't own nothing. We don't own anything. We hardly own anything. It's only a few of us that own some land, 10 pockets of us. God bless you. Pray for your protection. But we got to insulate our brothers that own land. We got to insulate them and support them and our sisters that own land. But when you think of us as a collective, we don't own anything. So if land is the basis, according to their social science, I forget who said it, but the basis of all economic and political freedom, no wonder we still begging at the door like Lazarus in a modern time for some crumbs that fall off his table. His table, and not our own. His table. And so I think that's a very, very important point, Brother Lewis. I think your background, you must have something on in the background. If you have a monitor or something, you might want to turn that down because it's feeding and killing your voice. It's like if you have a speaker or something. Yeah. Okay, I can hear you now.
You can hear me. Okay, listen, good brothers. Whenever people believe in a mystery God and they don't have the ability to be beneficent to one another, it's always this chaos and this arguing and this back and forth. I've never gone to any of my neighbors and they even asked me what religion I'm on. Are those Muslim tomatoes? Are those Hebrew? I got carrots too. Hebrew carrots or a cabbage.
Yeah.
See, people don't argue with you when you're beneficent. Mm-hmm. Think about that. You can win a friend over just by giving. Giving is one of the principles of Islam.
Yes.
And it is a principle of Christianity also. Mm-hmm. I wanted to move back a little bit, though, on this mystery God teaching, because God is showing us something with a little seed. Now, you don't eat the seed. You put the seed in the earth and you cover it. That was our way of life prior to coming into under the authority of the Caucasian. Think about that. You can grow so much food in your yard until it probably would cut your welfare, those who are on welfare, in half. Plus, growing food increases your faith in God.
Mm.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say that again. Growing food increases your faith in God and removes the residue of the mystery God teaching.
Facts.
In the Quran, it says if you can't find water, which is also natural, what should you do?
Take to clean earth.
Betake yourself to the earth.
Mm-hmm.
For ablution, plants and growing food actually purify your spirit. I learned this because plants don't lie, steal, or cheat.
Teach.
If you do and operate under the law you're supposed to, this earth is designed to produce for you. And once you master the law, in the words of Mr. Bill Allen, you systemize it. Meaning now you can do it at a rapid pace. Everybody in the community growing something with the thought. Lewis is he's mastered tomatoes and cucumbers and onions. I've mastered cabbage and different variety of lettuce and greens, these winter crops. And then we share. But we need enough people to move into close proximity and do it intentionally with the purpose to do that. This ends the mystery God teaching because now we're interdependent on one another. I'm looking for you to grow something. You're looking for me to grow something. I've mastered tomatoes. You've mastered lettuce. Now we need both of them in order to have a salad. I waste no time debating. It is a waste of time. Our time should be used in purposely thinking about how can we rid ourselves of the appetite to be irresponsible and not do things for ourselves.
Facts.
Now, to those who helped us, we are not ungrateful. Because
Absolutely.
when you lose the knowledge of self, you don't know how to do for self. That's what I just read about it. But if you make God your center, if we make God our center again, there's a lot of stuff, Brother Michael, that we could learn. If you're a brother and you don't have a skilled trade, or you don't know how to farm, or you don't know how to fish, you never actually went in the woods and had to hunt. We used to do a lot of hunting. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed, because Brothers Michael's book is We Must First Be Brothers.
Yeah.
So we have a friendly way of wanting to desire to teach each other. And I'm going to go out on a limb. Brother Michael don't know what I'm about to say.
Yes, sir.
But next month, and we just about have a date,
yeah.
Brother Michael.
Yeah, okay.
But I
Praise be to
promise
Allah.
you,
You're right.
next month, everybody on this call is invited to Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to come.
Yes.
And I want us, Brother Carlton, to spend a little time together. We're gonna actually physically build something, and we're gonna have a little meeting.
Right.
But it'll be around the principles of brotherhood.
Yes.
And what we can do with these hands
Absolutely.
and this mind that God gave us.
Yes.
Seeds are not big. Seeds are never big. I've never seen a big seed. We plant the seed and you cover it and it multiplies and it just gives you more and more. Last point. Take this into consideration. What business was Moses in? Lot. What business did Lot set up? What business did Noah set up? What business did Jesus set up? They say Muhammad's wife was a businesswoman, but Muhammad wasn't that kind of businessman. See, the truth of the matter is, God gives you a man, and that man has just one duty. It is to get the people centered and start them in the circumvention process
Right.
around their truth, their God, their world that they're going to build. I am Minister Farrakhan's builder. I'm saying that humbly, but it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You get that. You will
Yeah.
come to know that.
Yes, sir.
I'm that guy, all right?
Yes, sir.
But it says in the scriptures that except we build in the name of the Lord, we build in vain. I want y'all to look that scripture
Come
up.
on now. Come on. Come on.
Except we build in the name of the Lord, we build in vain. So we want to build in the name of the God that came in person to take us off the bottom. And we're not building in vain because we want to build something to free our people from the ignorant disposition that they are in right now. We want a world that's based on freedom, justice, and equality. We want the responsibility of doing something for ourselves. We want to win back our women's love. We want Black women to love us again.
Absolutely.
And not in no low way. But you know the way the Black women used to love Black men? They praise God. When you are a group of men and your women don't have no praise for you, it's because they don't see no God in you.
Come on.
It's because they see excuses in you.
Come on. Come on.
It's because they see you as an irresponsible little boy that's always talking about what somebody else done to you.
Teach.
So they don't have no praise for you.
That's right.
But we believe that if we follow the model man into another dispensation of time, it is not, I don't want to ever hear somebody ask, what is Minister Farrakhan building? Right. His job was, what was Ishmael's job and Abraham's job to build? Right. They built the spiritual center. You have to get centered on what our belief system is, the reality of that. And then your psychology, your medicine, your culture, everything comes out of that benchmark or that centerpiece. And so I don't believe in a mystery God. And I don't believe that any of us should ever again believe in the spooky mystery God, because it represents darkness and it represents chaos. And God has given us a teaching to where it will take work. Right. It will, Brother Michael. It ain't going to happen overnight. But we're on the road. Right. Our job is to keep making our rotation around our spiritual concepts. Right. This is why I don't like it when people start talking about how we don't need to talk. Right. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
We need to constantly talk on a higher frequency.
That's right.
You don't need to be on here calling each other bees and slandering and gossiping.
That's right.
But Black men need a place where we can talk and resolve conflict and get clarity.
Facts.
In our thinking.
Facts.
So I'm grateful to you and Brother John Muhammad for helping us to create this platform. If you didn't have this platform, I wouldn't know Brother Carlton or the many others that have come on this show.
Yes.
And I'm gonna say this and stop, because we underestimate ourselves too much as Black men. We overestimate the enemy and we underestimate ourselves. And that's disrespectful to yourself. You're a God, man. Master Fard Muhammad, he said he would climb a mountain 40 miles high
Mm.
just to teach one.
One of us. Yep.
That's how valuable we are.
Right.
And you got a lot more than one listening to you tonight, Brother Mike.
That's right. Praise be to Allah. Yes, indeed. And yourself and all those who participate. You know, Brother Lewis, you said something, and I thought about that seed. You know, the minister is a seed. He is a seed, if you understand.
right.
And he has sprouted out, and many of us have become little branches, and we also carry the seed. Really, that's what an FOI is.
We
An
are.
FOI
That's right.
carries the seed. That's why we're here having
That's
this
right.
discussion. And the part of this discussion, just for those, like you said, who always wanted to try to put out your fire by saying, oh, we just talking, oh, what is it about? No, we here, we're holding the line. We're here to penetrate the algorithm of life. We're here to make a statement, if you will, and establish the principle of brotherhood, you know, and with our people. And so you made that point about what Dr. Allen said about creating systems, you know, and I think that's also important for us to understand. We have to create a system of brotherhood. We have to understand brotherhood is a system. All of the prophets, whether it's Noble Drew Ali, you want to refer to the forerunners, Noble Drew Ali, whether you want to talk about Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Moses, Jesus, of course, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, that's the platform we standing on, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Master Farah Muhammad, the God in person, every one of them, just look at their resume. Their resume was about building brotherhood. You know, you know what I'm saying? They're not in disagreement with each other. They're not arguing with each other. But here, the FBI, the CIA, the COINTELPRO has infiltrated all these black organizations now, and you have need to grows arguing with each other, and the men that they say they represent are not being represented properly in any kind of a way. So we have to create a system of brotherhood. And the system of brotherhood is where we can identify clearly with what a real brother is, what the responsibility of a real brother is, and then we act on those principles. And when anyone steps outside of those principles, we automatically know that that's a moment either of correction or we have us an enemy amongst us. And so that's one of the things I just want to put out there quickly, because we are on this subject about a mystery God, but we also saying that the black man is God. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that God, in its etymological meaning, means possessor of power and force. See, so we have the power. We do have the power within us. And I appreciate also what you said, Brother Lewis, and I'm coming to you, Brother Carlton, about our women. We got to stop this fight, the battle of the sexes mess. Man, we need to put a end to that. You know, like right away, like tonight, we decree it in the name of Allah. We putting an end to that because it's foolery, especially on the part of brothers. We don't have to complain and whine about what's going on with our women. What we need to do is we just need to step up and be God. And then we start making commands and taking positions that we rightfully need to take. And our women, like you said, Brother Lewis, they will love us. They can't help but to love us because, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, they're not the woman of man. And if all you aspiring to be is a man, then of course that's not enough. You got to be more than a man in this world as black men. We have to be more than men. We have to aspire to be God. That's the importance of Master Fard Muhammad, whether you understand and know him or not. Those of us who do know, we understand. It's not just so we can sit up and just shout out names and give praises. We are identifying with the most powerful teaching that we could have ever been given in the last 66 trillion years. A teaching that was hidden from us, the reality of which was hidden from us, and that is the knowledge and the identity of God, the originator of the heavens and the earth. And it puts it right in our seat. You have to understand how powerful this is. These are not words. Many of us who have been in this teaching, we just have, sometimes we become rhetorical. We just are saying things. We're not really thinking deeply. We're not really meditating deeply on what we have been taught. What the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us, in that when he said that the black man is God. You see, we have to understand how powerful that really is. And then we have to get to a point where we go and study and understand the reality of that, where we can prove it to ourselves first, not to anyone else. We need to prove it to ourselves through study, edify our understanding of what it is that was said to us. And there's enough proof in everything that you see. The creation of the universe, the sun, the moon, the stars, even the function of the genetic function of a seed that you point out, brother. The God programmed that little bitty seed to be able to grow into a bush, to be able to grow into a tree. The God did that. That's how wise he is. As Solomon told, Solomon told his companions, followers, he said, study the ant and become wise. You see what I'm saying? And become, he said, and become, he said, become intelligent. He didn't say just get smart. He said, become wise. You know, so whole civilizations that Allah has created beneath our feet that the insects are living. The ant is operating on the high frequency of supreme knowledge from God himself. And if we just go study the ant, then perhaps we surround ourselves behind a function and a queen, and we build an empire for our families. And it's the same with the bee, the bumblebee, the honeybee, who goes and surrounds himself around and creates a whole bunch of, actually those are feminine bees, many of them, and then the drone, he comes in and impregnates them. But this queen and this honeycomb, you know, they guard this thing, is well guarded, bro. This thing is, everybody knows, don't go mess with a beehive, because they know that they will attack you with great ferociousness to protect what it is that they are building. Look at us. You know, are we studying the ant, the bee? Are we studying nature? You know, and becoming wise, because this is exactly what we need to do. When we create us, that's why I said we are the only people, and I want you all to process this. I'm gonna say it again, because it came to me in study while I was studying some very heavy thoughts and knowledge, that we are the only people who are operating on individualism. I'm talking about go to China. You don't see individualism. You see people who pull, everybody mad at them talking about how they robots, but they over there. These people got pride. They might be over there goose stepping. You looking at them goose stepping, and you like, oh, they just control. It's just not fair. It's not fair. No, those people have pride. When they walking by, them soldiers, them young people, they got dignity that this is their country. This is their people. You go anywhere else on the earth, you know, and you'll see people with pride and dignity about where they come from and who they are and their culture, their identity. Ours is rooted in what is pleasing. We're too concerned about what the white man is doing, and we're too concerned about who got a nice car, whose house looks good. You see what I'm saying? Who's on Desperate Housewives of Atlanta? Who is the new artist singing the song? Who did Chris Brown kiss on stage? I'll be damned. You know, look at where they got our heads, brother. And then they will try to parade before us. This little artist now is our spokesperson. We're going to go talk to this artist, this entertainer, to find out what they think about what's going on with the Black community. As if what they have to say is the end all be all for our culture. See, we got to bust that up. We have to bust that up as men and say, no, we don't accept that. We establish that within our own people. And when we get that kind of dignity, self-worth, and pride about who we are, we can appreciate all of the things that have come out of us instead of looking for the bad and looking for the disagreement, then brothers, then we got something to fight for. We got something to fight for, something to not just die. And I heard the brother say, I ain't just trying to go die for my people. I'd rather get out here and I'll do the unaliving of somebody else too, to protect what we love. You got to get to that point and that willingness. You know, the very last thing you can do and the most honorable thing that you can do is, if you are working to protect, is give your life for what you believe in, you know, and what you stand for. And you should believe in your people and believe in seeing us in a better state and condition than what we are. And we can do this overnight. And I want to give shout out to the brothers. There's some brothers in Oakland right now. I think they're doing something on Father's Day where they're doing a march, not a march, pardon me. They're doing a hike, you know, all Black men moving together, kind of what you're suggesting, Brother Lewis. We got to do things together so we can build, brother. That's what we did in the FOI. You know, when we go out and we push the program, which is a good thing to do, we push the program, you helping out, going after our people to wake our people up, it produces a love between each other as brothers. You get what you call esprit. I put it in the book, esprit de corps, the spirit of the men, you know, and you work together, but we got to get bigger and bigger. We got to set loftier and larger initiatives. Our initiatives are too small. I'm serious. They're way too small. We got to get bigger, man. The God didn't come for us to do just little things. He just said be faithful over little things while you're developing. But he came for us to do, came to do big. He came to set us on top of the world. That's what he came to do. And I'm trying to get there in whatever way that is. You know, I'm trying to help us get there. I want to see somebody get there. If it's not me, if I see any of my brothers sitting there, then I'm there because my brother is there, you know? And so, Brother Carlton,
Assalamu
then I
alaikum.
want to hear from Elijah. I want to hear from nephew.
Yeah, I like your point that you just made, brother.
Praise be
I
to
wrote some notes, but I can't find them right. But anyway, nonetheless, I was going to say that, you know, I think that our unity,
Yeah,
and I like what Brother Lewis was saying about coming to Louisiana,
yeah,
because I think that I have a like mind with Brother Lewis and you too,
yeah.
brother, Michael.
Yes, sir.
I think I
Yes,
have a
sir.
like mind with you brothers. And I
Yeah,
think that if we sat down and talked, and other brothers like us sat down and talked,
yes,
we could really formulate something. So I really want to. I ain't never been down to Louisiana. Well, I have a long time ago. New
yeah,
Orleans, I went down there, but I got some
right.
people down there. I would love to do that. Let me know when a
Yes,
date, something like
we
that is
definitely
set.
will, brother.
You know what I
We
mean? And
will.
I'm gonna make arrangements. Me and my son will roll down that way.
Yes, sir.
Um,
It'd be an honor
I
to
was
meet you in person. Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
there will
Yeah.
be. I was going to say though, you know, the Elijah Muhammad said that, you know, we should get some land of our own. We should become free, get our own nation. And when we get that nation, that he would free, he believed that the prisoners should be free, right?
Yes,
He
sir.
should free the prisoners. They should be free from prison and we should be able to take care of them.
Yeah.
We have to put it in, when it comes to this situation that happened with the young man, we have to think about what we're going to do, what will we be doing with those prisoners that are going to be released to us when we build a nation? What kind of
Right.
law is going to take place for everyone? You know what I mean? That is,
Yes.
you know, and the most likely people that are going to try the law is going to be the criminals that came out of jail. You know what I mean? That come to our nation. My point being is, murder. When you murder someone, the punishment is usually death. You know what I mean? In Islam.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Whether you can prove that it was self-defense or something like that nature, in this court system, it's going to be very hard for you to be able to prove self-defense when you unalive a um a white person. Okay, he's very lucky. You're very lucky if you get out of that without being on death row, because they have proved
Right.
that this young man, so-called murdered this guy in cold blood. They could have said capital murder. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that would have been his life, right?
Right.
So they gave him a lot of years. He can appeal. Well, my point is that we're gonna have these things go on in our own system one day. You know what I mean? We got to remember what happened here. You know what I mean? Why it happened. You know what I mean? And the details of what caused it. Because the Elijah Muhammad told us to defend ourselves, right? That we have to defend ourselves, but he also said that we should not be in places that we're not wanted. You know what I mean?
Right.
Immediately. This is immediately for me. If I go in a place that don't belong to me, something ain't right, then I'm gonna go in that place. And if I feel like they're saying I'm not wanted in that place, guess where I'm going? Right back outside. Now, if they come back
Absolutely.
outside and mess with me, they're gonna be sorry.
Absolutely.
They're gonna be sorry.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because I don't even care whether I'm gonna go to jail for what I'm gonna do to them. You know what I'm saying? If they come
Right.
chasing after me after I left, their presence. You see, we have to be mindful of
Absolutely.
this because they're gonna try us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're gonna try us in this day and age to move on them, because you know what I mean, and we got to be able to move right. If we move right,
Right.
Allah will be with us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we will
Yes.
go down that road. We might get locked up, but we'll go down that road and we'll win the case because we'll be on the side of Allah.
Right.
I'm saying that also to say is that the teachings have been out for over, I don't know how many years. And I can't believe that his parents and everybody over there haven't come in contact with Farrakhan. Okay?
Right.
So, you know, we have to look at our people, you know what I mean,
Mm.
and say, man, did you listen to this man Farrakhan? I heard him. You didn't hear him. You heard Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
He went out longer than Chris Brown. You know
I,
what
I
I'm
think you
saying?
make a good. I think you make an interesting point. I will add something though to it. If you're done, I don't interrupt.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty done, and I just
Okay.
wanted to say that because that's also a part of our understanding that there's no mystery God, and the white man will show you there's no mystery God when he laid out the law.
Yeah, when he laid down his law, absolutely. I will say this, Walaikum Salam, Brother Carlton. I think this is where sometimes we got to get into some of the spiritual aspects and some of the things that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught that even transcend spirituality. When we think about the new world that we're bringing into existence, those who come into our world will already be tuning up to what that world is going to be like. So they won't come in to our world with a criminal mind because in truth, we will have already cleared a lot of the energy out of them as they make the transition. And this is the way we have to really understand that this process works. You're not coming. I don't care where we got a lot of brothers who got out the joint. We got brothers out the joint right now. Just got out the joint, hot out the joint. They walk in the mosque. They don't bring that energy from the joint. They don't bring the street. They don't bring the street mess into the mosque right now in this world. They cleaned up their lives, you know.
That's right.
And so, by the time we get to a point where we are moving toward trying to establish, if we follow that, if the enemy give us that separate state of territory of our own, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad offered, which he said that he offered them and said that we should take this to Congress. He said, then we will create our own police systems. But we won't have to really worry about it because we're gonna have more peace. Now, if somebody falls victim to the law, we have a system we'll have in place for that, and we will handle them according to whatever that violation may be, and I think that we're wise enough at this point to operate on that level. Was something else that you said that I just wanted to kind of just brush up on, but that was a key piece. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, even referring to the hereafter, he said, all you will hear is peace. You see, so we will have a system of brotherhood. And I'm gonna tell you another thing that struck me, Brother Carlton, that you said, and this is not jabbing at you necessarily, but just as a point. There is a point in time where we won't think about a consequence that comes from the enemy, if that makes sense. We won't think about a consequence that comes from an enemy when we standing on what is a righteous and upright principle. And I think that's just something in part of our reorientation of thinking. And I agree that we have to defend ourselves and be willing to defend ourselves at all costs. But the most important thing that I would say, just as a thought process, because you provoked some heavy thoughts, is that we have to be of the mind to totally separate from his system altogether. We have to get from out of his thing altogether. So we're not even thinking, he can't incarcerate us when we're no longer in his world. That's what we got to start thinking. Like, he can't arrest God because we're operating in an entirely different world. Now, I know Black people, we have been so conditioned, and most of our people, we're so conditioned to think that this white man's world is just going to always be here. While it's clear, the handwriting of the scripture say it's on the wall. Your kingdom has been weighed in the balance and found wanting. This thing is on a crash collision course, a rendezvous with destiny. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said Allah set a day of doom for the devil. He has taught us about the divine destruction of America. America's being curtailed on every side. She's wicked. She's an adulterous generation who is corrupt in every aspect, a cage for every hateful, as the book say, an unclean bird. None are good in her. None. No, not one. She's an unrighteous thing that is about to be removed. And she refuses to hearken to the voice of God that has been in her midst. Farrakhan was not just warning Black people and trying to wake up Black people, but Master Fard Muhammad was using him in a dual way. Because as he was working to get us up, he was also giving the white man an opportunity to do the right thing and also clean himself up and do the right thing. But he's refused on every account. And as you can see, and as we can see, and this is what Black people need to pay attention to, you can keep on running between the two hills. Capitol Hill expecting from whence cometh our help. Is the Democrats going to help us? Oh no, we're going to go over here and the liberal party is going to help us. Is this party going? And none of the parties going to help you. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, Islam comes after all else has failed. We've been running to everything but Allah. And the only help that we will have is Allah and ourselves. That's the only way we're out of this thing, brothers. And this is why we're talking about there is no mystery God. We've waited and tried that mystery God for thousands and trillions of years. The sons of man have searched, as the scriptures say, for that mystery God, and have not been able to find a mystery God, and have concluded that there is no mystery God, and that the only God is the Son of Man. That's you, that's me, but that's more particularly the one that came in person. And I hope that many of you who are listening will get introduced to him, because he's real and on the scene today. Another thing, and I close on this. The reason why people love Malcolm today is because Malcolm is not here. Because you wouldn't love him so much if he was here. He'd probably be right over here, right on this call, or at the mosque. Because he was definitely on his way there. You know why people love and can talk so highly of Honorable Elijah Muhammad now? Because he's not present. You know why even some, I hear him saying, I'm pro Master Fard Muhammad. How you pro Master Fard Muhammad and you're not pro his man? You're not pro somebody who's done the best job of representing him to the world, better than anyone that we could ever know in our dispensation. How can you be with him? How can you say you love Elijah when Elijah, the man who made us to know Elijah again, you got a problem with him? You got a problem. You didn't start judging him. Don't realize that you are falling into a category and that you are failing, I got to say it, a test. You're about to fail a test that was already given to us. How are you going to treat the example that God gave you to become a man, to become a God, to become responsible to yourself? How are we going to treat him? How are you treating? That is the test. How are you handling him? How did they handle Jesus? How did they handle Moses? How did they handle Muhammad? The Arabs are not with Muhammad. They fighting each other. They shooting bombs at each other, and then go say, "Oh, it's time for prayer. Let's go pray." Salam alaikum. Oh yeah, Muhammad didn't know nothing about none of that. Muhammad didn't go there and say he was a Shiite. Muhammad didn't know I ain't a Sufi and Hanafi. He was just a Muslim. You see? So it's all these contradictions, and they got the nerve to come over and say, you are not practicing true Islam. No, you're not practicing true Islam. When you murder your brother, you allow the enemy to come on your land and help you to kill your own brother who say they believe in Allah and believe in the Prophet, peace be upon him. See? That's what I'm saying. They believe in mystery gods. These people follow a mystery God. They don't follow the God. And that's why they got a problem with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because there's an accountability that comes when you know the reality of God. And accountability means we got to do it. We got the responsibility to get up and do it, brothers. That's why we took on this subject. And yes, it's spiritual. Our last subject was spiritual. Yeah, you might say it was heavily leaning on what y'all believe. Okay, well, come on here and talk about what you believe. All I'm going to show you is how we're going to line it all up. You see, because some of you say you believe in Jesus and that he's God. Okay, well, he's a man. Talk to me now. So you're still worshiping a man, but the book says you got to believe in him in spirit and in truth. Right, Brother Lewis? You know, so you can't just say, you can't excuse that off the plate. Just come on over here and we can still show you that even if you follow Jesus, he said you have to be accountable. He said you have to first deny yourself, pick up your cross, and then come follow him. So you still have a responsibility, not to sit up and praise him and talk about you saved, and we're not doing nothing to save the countless number of young people and our people in general in this society. Come on now. That's hypocrisy. And that's what the enemy has done to us by making us worship a mystery God, made us into a bunch of hypocrites to ourselves and hypocrites to reality. So while we're looking up and praying up and bowing and making 1,000 rakahs, he's building whole civilizations and worlds and feeding and governing and taking all of the gold, the silver, all of the resources and everything. And we up here talking about we some believers. No. We got to wake up. This little brother Carmelo, everybody hurting. I'm looking at the internet. I'm hurting. Everybody hurting. Everybody's talking about him all over the internet right now. And it's just going to be another news cycle. Just another news cycle. In a minute, it's going to go away. And he ain't going to be that important no more. You see, we got to stop with this hypocrisy. And that's why I opened up by saying that it's not just reaction. We have to be proactive. How do we prevent these things from happening? Well, we got to get a school. How the hell you sitting around here talking about you educated, you doctor such and such, but you a doctor dummy helping to continue to build the system of your enemy. You're a doctor idiot. Oh, man, I'm sorry. But it had to come out. You know, I'm not talking about anybody personal. I'm attacking the system, the organization, the idea. Nobody personal. But I'm making the point that this hypocrisy is what's been caused by the belief in a mystery God. Brother Lewis, I see you.
Cooking, you know.
Praise be to
on every time you bring up Brother Carmelo Anthony's name, I think about my son, Kadeem.
Yes.
Because he went to school with him right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They went to school together. And Kadeem is more likely to get in a fight than Carmelo.
Kadeem is a soldier. Yes.
I'm not, you know, I'm just being honest, because Carmelo was really a nice young man. His cousin is a member of the Hot Black Coffee Party think tank. And when it first happened, she wanted some brothers to come around the young brother.
Yes.
But again, I'm saying something. We can't keep going under integration.
Yes.
Integration brings the worst out of our people and puts our people in the worst type situations. Now, you know, when we were at our age, we knew we were Black.
Yes.
But the modern young Black person may live in an all-white community. They call it making it, you know, so-called middle-class Blacks. They spend the night at white folks' house. I ain't never spent the night at white folk house. Why don't you just think about that?
Right.
But here you are, you get out the so-called neighborhood, because I knew all of my neighbors.
Right.
And you move into a nice area, or what you claim to be a nice integrated area. And your next door neighbors are Caucasians. You let your sons and your daughters go live next door with them. Spend the night. So you keep confusion going on. And they play like this while they're young, and then they start becoming teenagers. And as Black boys get bigger, they're looked at differently. You're sitting down, all white boys. Now, you know, if 5 or 6 white boys threaten to attack you, not you, but would we respond? Man, I'm gonna say this, and I don't know if I should.
Go ahead.
I used to. I don't think I'm gonna say it, but I understand the situation when you go someplace and you're the only Black person in the room.
Yes.
You ever been in a business meeting or on a job and you're the only Black person on the job and it's all white boys and you got to go somewhere? I was in the military. You imagine going out to the field and maybe you got Black people become real close when they get incarcerated. You know you Black when you in lockdown in the pen and the Aryan nation is in the pen. But when we're out here, there's a lot of confusion about identity. And as parents, we are not good stewards. Why don't you teach your children something conscious about their identity?
Right.
See, this is all part of this mystery God stuff. A lot of us send our children to school, and some of our sons, they have Caucasian boyfriends. I didn't say our daughters. You send your boy to school and he get turned out in white culture. He's a homosexual now. Yeah, homophile. And you sitting around there making $100,000 a year or more. not putting a dime back into Big Mama's old house that needs painting and a remodeling job. And
Come
one of
on.
your little cousins could
Come
live
on.
over there, and you could be working on that $100,000 job
Mm.
to make our community a safe and decent place.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You abandon that side of town. You
Mm.
go live with the whites and you teach your black daughters to marry Caucasian males
Yeah.
or to just let them slut them out.
Yes.
I know that's wrong, but it's the truth.
It's the truth.
They go to school with white children. She got her white boyfriend.
Mm.
I'm gonna just be blunt.
Be blunt.
If you just look at the sexual practices that are going on in the black community now, that's not the way we were before we integrated.
That's right.
See, we've lost our respect.
Yes.
And you can't gain
Teach,
your
brother.
integrity back
Teach.
until you repent and atone to
Mhm.
the Honorable Elijah Muhammad,
Yes.
because he told us not to do this.
Yes. Yes.
This is gonna sting, this next one that I'm gonna say.
Teach.
Sting. What's a Muslim doing with a dog up in the house?
Mm. Okay.
Don't like that, huh? When we joined the Nation of Islam, they taught us how to go to the toilet. That's the truth in the FOI class.
Yes, sir.
You have poop stains in your underwear.
Come
Some
on.
black woman to see.
Come on.
You learn how to wipe your behind
Your
properly in the
Yes.
FOI class.
Come on. Come
Thank
on.
you, Allah.
Come on, bro. Thank you.
That
Come
man
on.
wanted to civilize us.
Teach.
But see, now that you are integrated Muslim, alhamdulillah, blah, 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 and you think you're so smart,
Come on.
you're moving away from the civilization part of the teachings into this integrated style teaching, and you got a dog in your house.
Come on. Come on.
Dogs constantly
Come
shed
on.
hair. So you got
Come on.
33% of
Come
a
on.
hog in your house. A
Mm.
cat, a rat, and a dog in your house.
Mm.
Sometimes you
Teach.
got a cat and a dog in your house. And you petting them. And you got
Teach.
dog hair on your clothes the way white folks used to have dog hair on their clothes. I'm not being vulgar. I'm talking about culture.
You telling the truth, brother. Yeah.
We used to, we were taught how to answer the phone. When we answered the
Mhm.
phone as a Muslim, you know what you heard?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, may I help you?
Mm.
Or may I help you? Or yes, assalamu alaikum. That's the way we were trained.
Right.
But now we call you on the phone and we hear,
It's-
Ralph, Ralph, Ralph.
Right.
What's that in the background, brother? Oh,
Yeah.
that's my German Shepherd.
Mhm.
You got a dog up in there, bro.
Come
And
on.
you don't like what I'm saying right now because you know it's the truth. You've moved into this integrationist culture. You want to marry you an Arab white-looking woman, don't you?
Mm.
Some of them like that right now.
Yeah.
So they don't like the piercing teachings and the direct teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but you're
Compromise.
not going to get away from it. You can't escape it. The reality is that God came in person
Yes.
to deliver us from the white man's wicked,
Teach.
evil world and authority. His
Teach.
world is going down, and
Down.
those of us
Teach.
who believe in the teachings, we are gradually going to come up if
Come
we hold on to what he taught us.
That's right.
We are wrong for allowing our children to think that integration is the will of God. What God looked like telling Moses to go tell
Teach.
Pharaoh to let his
Teach.
people integrate.
Teach. Teach.
This is all this mystery teaching, this mystery
Yeah.
God teaching.
Yes.
That's what makes you lazy. And the only reason why you do it is because you lazy and trifling.
Yes.
And you want to beg white people.
Come
and
on.
even the good Caucasians,
Come on.
the good Caucasians
Come
who
on.
want to give you an opportunity to go for self, you saying, I don't want to go for self, boss. I
No.
want to be up under you in your subdivision.
Stay in your
I want
house.
to
Yeah.
marry your
Mhm.
daughter, boss.
Mhm.
I want to marry a white woman.
Yes.
See, we teach like that. That we as Muslims, we don't marry Caucasians.
No.
What? What? Can I say that in the public still?
Absolutely.
I teach my sons to marry Black women. Do you hear me? I want some Black grandchildren.
Yes.
I don't want need to grow children or
Come
grandchildren.
on. Come on.
I want civilized Black grandchildren who love and absolutely want to be God-centered. Why do you want your children to be God-centered? Because I would like to have eternal life. I really would.
Absolutely.
And eternal life is only in obedience to God. Integration has a time period on it, and it's going out now. And that's the reason why Donald Trump, he's got these Caucasians openly calling you a chimp.
Straight
Now
up.
it's the saying, oh, what you gonna do? You're gonna chimp out on me?
Yeah.
They talk to him like they talking like that in the public in 2026.
Yes.
They even wrote that by the year of 2053, that Black people will have zero net worth and that many will beg white people to be their slaves, physical slaves again.
That's the plan. That's the plan. Come on.
2025. Do you realize that over 1 million Black women have been laid off in a little over a year of this guy in
More
here?
to come.
Do you realize that? Do you realize that the governor of Louisiana said in the public that he got 18,000 acres that he could put our young people on? Do you see all of these so-called mobs of young Black people fighting in Miami, fighting in DC? And the girls are worse than the men. They're saying that we are the animals, and these small hats want to use us as a scapegoat for saying that the country's going down. Have you forgot Minister Farrakhan's More Than a Vision-like experience, where he talked about how they were going to try to criminalize Black boys, Black youth? Have you forgot 2010 when Minister Farrakhan had the FOI to go into every major inner city and pass out a free lecture titled Justifiable Homicide, Black Youth in Peril?
Yep.
This is an open book test.
Open
If
book.
you're not talking about getting out of integration, you're not really with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan. If you're not talking about making your own community a safe and decent place to live, work, and play, if you want to sit around and have silly debates and hollering, about what program is better and this is that and this is that, and you're not doing anything,
right?
You're in a time warp. We don't have time to debate. I don't want to debate nobody. I want you to show me how to plant seeds better and how to grow food.
Some good,
if you want to show me how
tomatoes.
Good tomatoes and carrots.
How to can them tomatoes and how to can them carrots. Yes. That's what I do.
And last point. This is what Mr. Bill Allen would always tell us. See, if you're teaching me how to plant tomatoes or teaching me how to build something, that's focusing on the solution, Brother Michael.
Yes, sir.
Don't spend time. I want to talk about the problem. We have the solution. In fact, that was why God came. He gave us the solution.
Teach.
Now, do you want to accept the solution? That's what the minister said at the Million Man March. He said, do you want a solution to the problem? We don't have time to waste time. Every time you get Black folk together, they act like they're powerless. If you don't smell good, take a bath.
Take a bath.
Does the white man have to come and wash us? We'll wash these little. We gotta really grow up. And become more grateful of what God has given us, man.
Brother, you know you hit so many points, brother. You talking about cooking, you done prepared a whole meal, brother, and then some. And I'm gonna tell you, and I'm over here chumping it up. You know, I'm over here like the horse is chomping at the bit. I'm just ready to go, ready to go. Because what you're saying is just right on point, and it's beyond emotional. We joke, but it's beyond emotional in my dramatization. It's just the truth, you know, and it's going to get clearer and clearer and clearer. You know, the mystery God teaching you said makes us lazy. That's a fact, and that's why we will call Lazarus in the scripture, you know, under the symbolic name. We got to see, brothers and sisters, you got the Bible, but you ain't really looking at it in the right way. You got to see yourself in it. You Lazarus, you the one that the Jesus who has come, the Jesus who is currently among us, has been calling out of the grave. But you still got on your grave clothes, which means you still have the character of the dead posture that came from your enemy. This mystery God teaching, Brother Lewis, you hit it right on the point, you know, and it's even gotten a little clearer. You know, you said we need to atone to the honor of Elijah Muhammad. And I don't think, I think it's going over some of our head. Might even went over my head the first time, you know. I mean, I know what you're saying in the practical truth, but you know, you got to go deep. It's like pulling layers off of an onion. You're getting deeper and deeper to the core of what is being said. You see, when a man pipe to you and telling you to come out of her, my people, he ain't say no mystery God taught him. He said Allah taught me. Elijah Muhammad, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, 100% stood on it, never deviated, didn't alter it, didn't fix it up, didn't jazz it up. He kept it 100% on it. He said Allah taught me. Allah told me this. Allah told me that. Allah told me this. And Allah told me that. And you need to do this. And you need to do that. Because Allah told me. So what does the scripture say? He said he came that we may have life. And have life in abundance. Well, hell, are we having life out here under the false teaching of what the enemy has given us and the false versions of what the enemy? No, we're dying. We up here want to argue about diversity and inclusion, which is just another way of saying, please, Mr. White Man, please, Mr. White Man, please hire me. Please give me a job. You know, please, Mr. White Man, let me work in your place. Please. And he's not going to do it for us. This is reality, and we're about to get a reality check, brothers and sisters and people who are listening, in a few short days that we've never seen. You out here, you got some, you get to talking to a few people, you mention Trump, they go crazy. Don't say Trump, don't say Trump, don't say, they do have Trump mania. You can't even have I'm not saying it to agree. I might be pointing out something that I disagree with. You just say the name, they start freezing up because they need somebody to blame, but it ain't Trump that you need to blame. You need to look in the mirror and we need to look at ourselves, because there wouldn't be a Trump had there been a you and I being responsible for ourselves and our children and future generations and obeying God and taking advantage of what we have gained through our sojourn, because we have gained. Oh, you can't, don't sit up and talk about the white man dumb. Don't do that. Don't even do that. Don't sit up and try to criticize the white man talking about he ignorant. No, he's smart. He is smart. This man built a whole civilization on one book of mathematics he got from the black man. This man built a whole world. He's ruling the whole planet. He covered every basis. When he get a problem, he don't do like we do. He don't go where just have the debate. They'll get in the room, they might debate, but when they got a problem that's affecting this whole country, they'll get in the room and figure out how they're gonna go solve that problem. They say, well, I think we can go ahead and drop a bomb on these people over here. They might be dead wrong. In most cases, they are dead wrong. You know, but my point is that they are into the business of solving problems for their people and their country to maintain. So we got to study that. We got to be intelligent enough to study what that is. So to my point, and I'm coming back around, you know, integration, as you said, and I think you pointed out before, is truly a sin. It is truly a corrupt behavior. You know, I was in the mall the other day. The mall, again, look, I'm in an operation of department stores. I wasn't in Black Wall Street. I wasn't in a building that was black business over here, black business. I'm in a mall where the enemy has set up an infrastructure modeled based on the same systems that we've used, what do you call them, the bazaars and what do we call it when we used to host them? You know, where black people put all our goods to the marketplace. You know, he just created a high stake one. And so I'm walking through, and what do I see? I see two sisters now. Listen to this closely. With the strollers, right? So I said, oh, two sisters they must be walking their babies. You know, like what you would typically think to see, you would see. But I see two sisters with these nice strollers, and guess what was in the strollers? Two dogs. I said, they're pushing dogs through the mall. You don't want to have a healthy baby and be a mother and be in your maternal nature. You're pushing a dog around the mall. Listen, picking up dog. This is what they have gotten us falling to. They got you done got a pet to be your friend. I heard a sister tell me one time, I had to get a dog because I ain't got no man, so I'm gonna get a dog to be my companion. I'm like, yeah, but I remember time that's all you said was all men are dogs. Now you done went and got a dog. Come on now, help me understand how that makes sense. See, that's what integration has done. That's what mystery God teaching has done. It's caused us to go insane. So now you got people walking around picking up dung. I mean, do you understand brothers? Do you understand how insane that is? That you walking around with your dog, picking up the dog doo-doo and putting the dog doo-doo in the damn trash, but you won't pick up the trash from your streets. You won't clean up your community. You won't pick up the trash. You won't even clean up your house. See, that's saying that we got some serious psychological energies. Listen, the reason why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that separation, in my view, this is one of the reasons I had to grow to understand it, it's better than prayer. It's better to pray. He said,
teach separation and teach prayer.
Right, better to teach separation than teach prayer. Because guess what? I get it. Whatever frequency and environment you are in is stronger than heredity. So being around someone that corrupt in nature, in a system that corrupt in nature, it's like somebody constantly giving you a message into your head. It's constant programming, constant imagery that you're taking in, constant sound that you're taking in, constant food, smell of food, culture, everything that he's doing. You're taking that in over and over and over again, and you can't help but to fall into that behavior. So you fall into his sinful way because you're in his society. That's why he said to us that we have to have a separate state of territory of our own. Why do you think we're on this subject? Who is a mystery God? There is no mystery God, but we living like it's one coming. We waiting on somebody. Ain't nobody coming, brothers. I want to make a public service announcement for those who are listening now and those who will see in the future. There is nobody coming but the one who already came, and when he come back, it ain't gonna be nice. It ain't gonna be nice. Them little wheels and all the stuff that you're hearing about now that they finally let go and the information, it ain't gonna be nice when he returns. You see, because he's not coming back to be cool and be friends with these people. And if we still with him, then we're in trouble too, because we refuse to take what we have been given. I heard Minister Abdullah say, he said he gave us supreme wisdom. You know, and the God is the supreme supreme God. That means there is no one comparable to it. And if you understand the wisdom that we've given, there is nothing comparable to it. It really is invincible truth. And if you really understand what that means, is that it will defend itself. Like the scriptures say, I don't need anybody to uphold me. My own right arm, it'll help me. I know, Brother Carlson, you've been waiting a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and let you slide on in there, and then we're gonna go to you, nephew, Caleb, and if Brother Noor, anyone others want to make a comment, just want to give you an opportunity. I know some of us just tune in and listen, but your presence is felt. I just want to make sure you know it. Carlton.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I wanted to say, brother brought up something that struck me, and then he was saying something about the Louisiana governor saying he had land and he was going to have this land. He could just put us on there, but yes, now we have to think about this thing. Now just hear me out. Just hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out, brother. All right.
Brother.
The idea that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said or put out there that the children that are being raised need to be raised elsewhere is really a concept. You know what I mean? Reason why I say it's a concept is because you got wealthy people that will take their children out of the wealthy home and put them in a boarding school so that they can learn how to be aristocrats in their world. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So in one of my dreams has been, and I live in Maryland, and they have this land out here. It's 270,000 acres. It's a hay farm, right?
Hmm.
And they want like almost, they want $750,000 for it, which is kind of cheap for Maryland. You know what I mean? In terms of
Right.
275,100 acres. Anyway, my dream was that, I would take brothers, young men from the inner city that are good young men, like that brother that what's his name, Kamalo, that happened to get in trouble by killing this guy, right? Or unaliving this guy. Okay,
Hmm.
this white boy. Had he been able to go away from the environment and go into an environment where he was with his own, he's a good guy, right? He's a good man, good young man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pulled in that environment, showed how to farmland, trained, you know what I mean? How we doing the FOI and built up to be able to go back into his community and provide, you know what I mean, a good service to his community. You know what I mean? So
Right.
take that concept that they might be trying to use to discredit us and think about re-educating our black men, even the black women, but specifically the black men, taking them out of the inner city, showing them how to farmland. You know what I'm saying? You see, just think about that part, okay? Taking them out of
Yes.
there and giving them the supreme wisdom. They can't lose, okay? They can't lose
Right.
in any school that they go to after that. And they'll
Right.
learn how to be soldiers and they'll learn how to farmland. You give them a parcel of land, let them work it. That's my idea. Give them a little
Right.
home on that land, let them live that land like it's theirs. You know what I mean? When they get finished, rotate them out and then somebody else get that. And they can build and build and
Absolutely.
build. You see what I'm saying?
I'm
So
with
we
it.
can
I'm
use
with it.
it. We
Yeah.
can use it for our greater good. They may be trying to use it for our greater bad, but let's look into it because even the devil had his purpose.
Right, right. So I think what you're saying is you're talking about the principle of what we could do if we were to take a model like that and go get some land and then bring our young people in. That's what you're talking about, and
Yes,
and
sir.
you're 100%. I'm in agreement with that. I think, brother, we all in agreement with that. I think that's a brilliant thing that we need to look at. We need to be able to have camps. White folks have camps. Like when I was in
Mhm.
Belize one time, they have, I forget what the name of the groups they be having, but they'll take these Christians will take these little groups of young people, these white Christians, and they'll send a group of their young people over to Belize and they'll do certain kind of work, or they'll send them, of course, we know they go in Africa and do all kinds of corrupt stuff. But anyway, the point I'm making is it's a training that creates an impression on them that allows them to be prepared for global mindedness, other forms of leadership, or whatever other things that could come out of that. And we do need to give, it's really a rites of passage. What Brother Lewis
Mhm.
was talking about that's going on with the Louisiana governor, just to be for clarity, he talking about a prison.
Right,
So
right.
he's talking about creating a prison for black people and
Reverse
to
that.
take black people off absolutely the reverse
You
of
know
what
what
you're
I'm
saying.
saying?
But I
Yes, sir.
think just the point, the point to make so others who are listening can understand where you come from, because I understood the model you're
Yes,
talking about.
sir.
I
Good,
agree. We
good,
need to be
good
able to
point.
go
Yes,
and
sir.
house our own children. I had a program called Happy. I believe that's exactly what we need to do. We could create a space, even when we talk about brotherhood. We can create a space where we can take, if we controlled it, not the prison joint, but if we could take it and have some land somewhere where we can go build some homestead, what you call them, little housing, create little model housing, but it's all based on being a part, brought into a system where you're going to receive training, you're going to learn how to deal with the land, you're going to learn how to be disciplined, you're going to learn how to be a husband, you're going to learn all of the
Mhm.
things that we have learned, like you said, Brother Carlton, in the FOI. This is what we need to be able to produce within our own community. I think it's brilliantly what we need to do. We need to be
Yes,
able
sir.
to go take, some of our young people don't want to go to college. We shouldn't make college the standard. That's not the benchmark for everything and for black people. We need to be able to say, okay, maybe this brother likes to work with his hand, maybe he's creative, maybe he's an artist. So maybe we have a recording studio on the land. But he still
Yes,
got a
sir.
part of his duties. He got to get up in the morning at the crack of dawn with the roosters. He got to pray, you know what I'm saying? Then he got to go out there and work in the fields for himself, and
Mhm.
for his community and for his, for his people, and doing something to help build his integrity. It's just like going into the military. You kind of gain some disciplines that may stick with you for the remainder of your life, or being an athlete, being on a football team, something like that. You gain these properties, or a basketball team, you gain these properties and learning how to work together because you want to win. So we have to create those kind of models. You're right. So if it was a brother like Carmelo, he's a highly intelligent brother. We had an independent educational system where we had schools set up, which is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was doing when he established school, which was an act of war. It really was it was a power move for him to establish the school. That's why the enemy came after him. The enemy knew that he was really representing real separation, because he started the most important step in separation is taking back the mind. Hell with taking back your body. Start with your mind. Start with the mind of your children. You know, if you don't go grab your own child, like I'm thankful to Allah. We took the risk. My sister and myself, we took that risk, you know, as young people. And we pulled our children out of that devil school. You know, I couldn't do it. I'm talk too much. I'm too crazy. You know, I will snap. You know what I'm saying? I mean that in the sense that you hurt one of mine in that era when they were my babies, my children. I already know me, and she the same way. So we knew ourselves. We knew that we couldn't afford to be going up to the school talking about why you treating our children that way. I already know why you're gonna treat them that way. So we took the risk and put them at home. Everybody else looking at us like we crazy. Y'all, them children ain't gonna know nothing. Them, you know, I mean, even your family be judging you because they don't have belief that integrationist mindset does not allow you to believe in the possibilities of what can come out of yourself. You know, so we just trusted what Elijah Muhammad said, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and we didn't have no damn program. We had no homeschooling program. We wasn't connected to nothing. Hell, we grab a book here and a book there, a tape here, a lecture. Of course, the house is saturated. You can feel the teaching in the wall. You go scrape the wall and you will hear the teaching. It's up in there because that's what we had going on, lecture after lecture after lecture in that house. You know, so that's what we would do. And I think we had not that I give kudos to college, but if I look at my children, just about every one of them is either attending college, has been graduated. My oldest daughter, you know, I have daughters who have professional and really have chosen some interesting fields: architectural design, 5-year programs. These are homeschool children. We didn't teach them math and science in the way, but we just exposed the teachings that Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I have to bear witness is what impacted their lives. So these children doing high levels of math. I was talking to the sister Carlene. I was talking, and I were talking, and we were like, damn, we know we're intelligent. We're not no dumb people. We obviously were intelligent because we chose the teaching, but we didn't teach them no math that they were doing. They going into colleges doing math that we didn't know nothing about. So I said, well, we know that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching is real. We already see the elevation in just one generation. From what the Honorable Elijah, just trusting in what the man taught, one movement. You know what I'm saying? One movement, I can bear witness to the power. And then you can keep looking, and you'll look at another generation of those of us who listened to him and came out of her. The enemy's world, try it. He said it's better to put your child, and I remember he used to stick in my head. He said it's better to take your child out of the devil's school and get under an apple tree and read a book to your child than to send them to the enemy's school. How many of us got that message? So we now wonder why and even amongst the Muslims, we wonder why all of the children, they don't love nothing about no teaching. They out here in the street. They out here twerking. They out here doing everything but trying to know God. No morality on no level because we put them in an environment. That's why I started. We keep putting our children in environments expecting something different to come out. Let me tell you, public service announcement, none of your children who are in the educational systems of America are safe. Take heed to that. I'm not saying if they go to secondary, college and all that, they're grown at that point. But I'm talking about when you're talking about K through 12, your children are in danger. They are in danger. Because it is an extremely hostile environment. Any of us that went to high school, we know the hostile environment that it was in my era. Nowadays, it's far worse because of social media. So children today are exploited in ways that they can't even begin to handle it. That's why you don't know what was going on with little Carmelo. You know, the pressure on him was different. That's why they will go out and kill you a little quicker. You see what I'm saying? Some of us were fighting. We carried knives. We did things like that growing up. You know, anybody could have came up missing in my era, you know, because all it took was one fight and you trying to get somebody up off of you and you jug their backside because you will do that to defend yourself. But every time we send our children into schools like that, that's what they're going to experience. That's why we should have independent schools. Now, I know I got Black people listening where I'm from. I know educated people. I know a lot. We all know highly educated people, but your education has tied you to the enemy. If our education does not free us to say, let me go and pull my babies into an environment where when they go to school, they're looking at somebody that looks like them, not some white teacher from rural somewhere in Iowa, Wisconsin, or wherever the hell they are, Illinois, and that don't know nothing, have no empathy, no understanding of anything about a black person. And then now you got your black son looking at her. That's why, Brother Lewis, they grew up and they fantasize. It's just like the white woman on the plantation. We looking at her cleaned up and all nice and neat and smelling good as she could. And it probably wasn't all that good, but anyway, that's another conversation. But anyhow, and we out there sweating and, dirty, and our woman all sweating up in dirt, and so it's the game. It's the game. We fall victim for it. And that's what's happening even in the institution. So mystery God, understanding that there's no mystery God, puts responsibility on us. Then we can stop having these unreasonable expectations that the oppressor is ever going to change. We're going to have another Carmelo in just a few short days. We got brothers being dragged right now by the police all the time. I'll be Elijah Mama teaching on police brutalities going back from the 30s. Tell me, at what point have we received justice, brothers? When we were growing up, it was Rodney King. And they got this brother on there talking about, can we all get along? And gave the brother $1. You know what I'm saying? Beat the hell out of him and gave him $1 in front of the whole world. You see, we have to understand it's never going to change. Am I being pessimistic? Hell no, I'm not being pessimistic. I'm being realistic. Realistic because when you know the reality of God, you can practice real, or what we call reality, not the illusion of knowledge, the reality of knowledge. I do the math. The math says for the last 400 plus nearly 500 years now, we have gotten the hell beat out of us in this society. Is this blame the white men? No, it's not blame. No, it's facts. You can prove it. Was there conditions that came from that? Absolutely. What were the conditions? We have black people who have deep psychological problems, self-hatred, and who have an insatiable love for their oppressor. Black folks who won't unify, won't do anything for themselves. You got black women who want to look like a white woman. You got black men who don't love themselves, who killing each other in the street, hate each other, pissing contests. Tell me, you can see the problem. It's very clear. Our children are then being educated, and all of the social powers and structures of our enemy is being impressed upon our children. So some of these children out here now, like the young boy the week before last, who parents was in the military, came from a good family, I forget his name, but who was world traveled. And here he is, he goes to Florida, and then he's on the street, he on the block, he killing people. He's in jail. Him and some of his cohorts in jail for they're about to go to jail for life for murder, and he was nowhere near being hardcore. It don't even matter. When I came up, it was the cat that didn't have nothing. It was us that didn't have nothing, that had that proclivity to be a street ninja, who had the proclivity to be out here because you didn't have nothing. The brother with the mom and the dad in the house, he was looked upon as being, okay, at least in my generation, or in some cases he was picked on because he was secure, which is insanity, right? But in our era, that was then. Nowadays, you can take a young boy who comes from affluent families, and he'll still go out and choose the path of the thug. You see, and that's the reality that we face with. So you got good families producing children who still end up in the street. So you have to ask the question, why? Why would a child who comes from a good family end up thugging and murdering people? Because the environment that he's in, the culture that he's in, the music culture, everything is being produced by our enemy to have that type of effect. And we haven't even started talking about the food. We haven't even started talking about the drugs and the chemicals in the food that's having a mind-altering and psychological effects. We talk about homosexuality. We haven't even begun to talk about the chemicalized induction of homosexuality and how even transgenderism, how it is proliferated mostly among Black boys. Black men are turning more than anybody. Nobody's talking about that. You don't understand that it's a direct missile at us because they need to cut off our testicles. They did it physically on the plantation. They're doing it psychologically, and they're doing it through food and drugs and chemicals now. And so now you running around here talking about You don't feel none of that testosterone that's naturally supposed to be in you. You don't feel nothing about masculine. And our women got a problem with, some of them got a problem with masculinity. See, this is all a part of being caught up in a system that we refuse to come out of. So when we talk about being brothers, and we push this theme, you say, well, what does this have to do with being a brother? It has everything with being a brother. Because men, we have to pull ourselves together and then take over. We don't negotiate. We don't say, hey, may I, when it comes to what is basic human needs and responsibilities that are upon us. We gotta be brothers, because I realize it over these years, you know, especially at times that I've been by myself alone. It's just not gonna happen, brothers. We're just not gonna be as successful as we need to be. We might have a little measure of success. We might be able to pay some bills. You know, we might have an extraordinary, brilliant idea to do something amazing, but it will not be as powerful as it needs to be unless we understand what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, and that was the need for unity and group operation. So, who is that mystery God? There is none. That is an illusion. Stop believing in what the enemy taught you. You can't expect for an enemy that never treated you right, as we've said many, many times, to ever teach or pardon me, or teach you right, guide you right, aid you, make sure you're okay. He's just not going to give you the truth. He's not going to give you the true version of Jesus. He's going to give you the version of Jesus that makes you close your ears and cover your eyes. He's not going to give you the version of Jesus that tells you to pick up your cross and come follow him. The version of Jesus that makes you a warrior. The version of Jesus that makes you a defender of your family and your community and your people, that love yourself. He's going to give you a watered down version of all of those that could help you if you saw them in the proper light. And that's what we have to do. And a part of seeing any scripture in the proper light, anything that relates to us in the proper light, is that we have to be introduced to wisdom that is not given to us by our enemy. The minister coined the phrase beautifully as we close: he who supplies the diameter of your thinking controls the circumference of your activity. So we have to start feeding on ourselves, feeding on the brilliance that's coming up in us, and wisdom that comes from us, and wisdom that is for us, that we may be elevated. Brotherhood, brothers, is just another way of saying unity. And unity is being able to find a common denominator amongst each other. And we have several common denominators. Stop pissing. I don't care what, if you got pulled up through the 5%ers, respect, peace, God. If you're a Mo, I love it. You on the high self, low self, we want to try to get on the high self, let's get on the high self, bro. Let's get on the science. Let's get on what the Honorable Noble Ali was teaching. You know, if you're a Hebrew Israelite, you're my brother. You go through that Bible, chop it down. Let's get righteous. Let's be righteous. Whatever the high point is, black man, we can sort out the rest. But let's see if what we have been learning and what we have been getting from wisdom, whether we're Christian or whatever, if what you have received from that source that you believe in, that you stand on, has it made you a brother? Has it made you a brother? Don't sit up and say, oh, but y'all don't believe, I can't follow nobody. No. Well, you sit up in the white man's house right now, and I promise you, if he'll tell your backside, you're going to do what he tell you to do, because you've been doing it. You don't talk tough and lose your life right away, trying to impress me and prove me wrong. All you have to do is look at the collective condition of our people. It's not the individual thing that we're talking about. We're talking about the collective, talking about the broader collective condition of our people. When you go get gas, you got to go get it from him. We ain't got our own deal with the oil companies, and we don't got a conglomeracy where we can say, hey, you go here, this is gonna be some gas, you're gonna get some black people because we didn't cut the deal. You don't got that. When you go get your grocery, unless you're fortunate to have some tomatoes in your backyard and some carrots in your yard, and some do, then you going to knock on the door. You're going to HEB, you're going over here, and I'm not trying to get them no plug, but that's where you're going. You go into one of these grocery stores around here, you're gonna walk up in there and walk down the aisles, and you're gonna pull their processed, genetically modified food off the shelf, and that's what we're gonna be eating and nourishing your body with. You see? So talk to me. What good is what we have if it does not convert into being a brother, and it does not convert into us working together and building something that is viable, that's real? All of our children need to be educated. All of our children need to be saved from these institutions that are killing them. All of them. All of our children need to be taught how to eat to live. You need to be taught how to eat to live. Not how to, not what, how. Just so you can stop over consuming, eating food because you're depressed and you're down and out, poisoning your bloodstream. This is all a part of what the true God comes to give us, is a way out of these conditions that we're suffering from. You know, we're ill because we won't listen. You know, I got family members I told years ago, I gave them, put that book in their hand, How to Eat to Live, and they just don't listen. Now they listening because Dr. Oz then got on damn TV, and you listen to somebody else, you listen to these crackers now talking about intermittent fasting. Elijah Muhammad been told us to eat 1 meal every day. He said, you eat 1 meal a day, you'll hardly ever be sick. You said 1 meal every other day, you will never be sick. You won't even hardly think you want sickness to come to you. 1 meal every 3 days, sickness will not have a place in your life. See, we've been given supreme wisdom and guidance that separates us from having to believe in a mystery God. No matter what you call yourself, if you black and intelligent, don't tell me it don't work. It works. It works. I'm proof of it. I'm proof of it in my own walk. I'm a young man. I ain't getting old. I'm getting younger. I'm getting wiser. I may be on earth a little longer, but I'm not aging like some of these people my age. They look like they're about to fall off the planet because I followed Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching. And if they start following it right now, they can reverse that too and get out of the hospital as quick as you possibly can with the help of Allah. So I close again, thanking you for tuning in, brothers, today. The black man is God. That is not just rhetoric. That's not egotistical talk. That's not feel good, pump you up message. That's not vanity, egoism. That's none of that. That is the absolute 100% actual fact, divine truth going back to the Ancient of Days. And even Jesus said, do you not remember that it was said unto you that ye are all gods? See, it's right there in the book. So being a God means that we take our rightful position. We have to start believing and projecting our energy and projecting our focus and our attention for success. No matter what I'm up against, with the help of Allah, I am determined to be successful. I don't care if it takes me for the rest of my life. Whatever success is in the realm of God, I want to be that. And I will fight and strive until I reach that. And whatever I don't achieve, hopefully I will have to help to curate, or if you will, carve out a path that maybe my next brother, sister, whomever coming, will have had some ease because of what we've laid down, just as we have had ease because of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has done for us, and what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has done for us, what all of those followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, not just the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but his brothers and his family members and all those who paid sacrifices, the family members of all these servants, even our family members, even my family members have sacrificed. People have sacrificed. We're trying to lay a path out, but we continue to fight, and we don't ever give up until we win, and we are going to win. That's what we were told, right, Brother Lewis? We're going to win. We're the winners. Allah promised us the victory. He's not a liar. So I thank you, brothers, for tuning into our show today, and we're going to keep on holding this line. I'm so grateful for it. You know, I believe we're going to keep growing and keep evolving, and we want this message to keep moving out throughout the community. And we want to join on with our brothers who are doing things around the country, who are operating on this space, in this space already, because that's what it's all about. This is not a pissing contest. You know, it's brothers right now being activated. It's not a pissing contest, man. If somebody got a better way of doing something, then holler at your brother, because I'm open for it. You know, brother, Christian brother asked me a couple of questions. He said, man, well, I was telling him about what we're doing. He said, well, he asked me a couple of questions. I was like, brother, I really have no idea. But it's somebody that does. So, and I'm open to hear whatever that person has to say. But what we have to do, what we have to start by doing, is we have to create the motion, and that's what we have done. So I'm gonna close it out, put this joint on for you, brothers, because you know we're using this technology, and I keep on pushing it forward. But it's a powerful message, and what I'm going to play for you here as we close out. And I hope that it waters your soul and encourages you, because it is absolutely the truth. And here we go. Yeah. All right. Give me 1 second here. Thank you all, brothers, and assalamu alaikum. But let me go ahead and play this tune for you. Because, you know, your brother, this technology that turned your brother, I'm becoming a record producer nowadays. But it's all on the positive. And all right. I think y'all gonna like this. I played it in the opening, I think. But if you didn't catch it, I'm gonna play it again. Let me see.
Love, yeah.
Let me get that first part because it said Bismillah. I want you to catch that.
Bismillah, yeah. Yeah. We've been searching outside when the truth was always within. Listen, the black man is God, yeah, I know. How I know? Cause Allah told me so. Not a mystery, it's in my soul. Truth been buried, but it's time to grow. The black man is God sent gold. Lost knowledge, now we take control. No more waiting, no more being slow. I know who I am. Allah told me so. Born in a system that erased my name. Taught me change but never taught me rain. Told me God was somewhere in the sky while I'm down here barely getting by. But the lessons hit different when you wake up. Truth hit hard, had to shake up every lie that they fed as a youth. Now I'm standing on divine truth. Will you sit and wait on a mystery or build power in your identity? Enemy never played that role. He built kingdoms, took control. So I look within, what did I see? Not a slave of divinity. God in flesh, that's reality. Not religion, that's biology. The black man is God. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. How I know. Allah told me so. Not a mystery, it's in my soul. It's in my soul. Truth been buried, but it's time to grow. The black man is God. Stand bold, stand bold. Lost knowledge, now we take control. No more waiting, no more being slow. I know who I am. Allah told me so. From the wilderness to the concrete jungle, still rising through the pain, the struggle. They feared the child, tried to kill the seed, but we the future that the world gon' need. Program young with fear and doubt. That same fear we breaking out. No more chains on the mental plane. We evolving, we breaking chains. Style itself is the highest form. That's the key to transform from a follower to a guide, from confusion to divine pride. We was kings before the ships, before the whips and stolen scripts. Now it's time we reclaim the throne and build a nation of our own. No more waiting, no more praying for something outside. He lives inside. No more begging, no more hoping. We rise in truth, we live in proof. The black man is God. I know, yeah, I know, I know. Cause Allah told me so. Not a mystery, it's in my soul. Truth been buried, but it's time to grow. The black man is God. Stand bold. Lost knowledge, now we take control. No more waiting, no more being slow. I know who I am. Allah told me so. Not a mystery, not a myth, not something to wait on. The knowledge of God is the knowledge of self. And once you know that, you can never go back.
Peace, gods. Peace, gods.